just all they get. Is Smash going to be able to get at least one back. So a 3 for 3 as it stands.
I think the big winner, though, in this fight is T1 because this is Pays with 3 kills. He's 800 gold ahead. He picks up a Kraken Slayer off the fight, and he is just now an incredibly high-power Kai'Sa in a game where that's not necessarily supposed to happen. And he's still got 64 stacks of his call to go through. So now T1 make the call here, even though it's a Xin, that they have enough burst damage actually with the Vi here. And it's the correct call with Faker's ultimate there. They're going to be able to get the execute. But now they're super split, right? And she was able to find Faker here, has the amazing flash counter-strike, which also gets a second stun onto the Olaf. Olaf goes too low. Smash is able to get over the wall. Smash can't get over the wall here. This fight is a complete wash because he won't escape the sweep from Keria. Super high value as well as they commit flashes on the chase, and then Smash here is able to get some strays, but or just one stray, I should say there, but still a disaster for D+, I would say, but at least they got something out of it. They didn't get the full 3 grubs, they got the 2, and they did get that additional kill there with Smash, and this Jax is still a win con to play through.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think the game state remains the same, but with T1, like, with a little bit more of an advantage, I guess. But it's still top side belongs to DK, bottom side belongs to T1. The problem is, T1 have been pretty good at playing around Pays. This guy kind of just wins games. He's real good at it. And this Kai'Sa, we saw Taeyeon on it just recently, really be able to carry in the later game as well. And I don't think the Jhin is really going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with Pays on 3 items, for example. I just don't think it's going to happen.
We've only seen a select few players play Kai'Sa to success this year. I think the one that comes to mind for most is Teddy, to be honest, but it's a pick that when you get ahead, which often doesn't happen because you lose lane because it's a Kai'Sa draft, it means that you have to make these really incredibly complex plays later on, or the enemy team has to make a mistake and gift you over some kills, or you make that crazy outplay like Teddy does and get a quadra kill. But Pays is just like, I'm playing easy mode on Kai'Sa. I already did. The hard part is gone. I don't even have to worry about all that stuff. I'm ready to play make right now. My team is in a strong position to fight for Dragon. They have the first Dragon already. They're going to get double Dragon very likely off of the prio that Pays still holds down here basically by himself. And look at all the deep vision they have. There's no contest opportunity. So yes, the Jax is a problem, but the rest of the 80% of the game is a larger one for D+.
It certainly is. Well, Curtain Call is going to come in here as Ona gets to the back of the pit. The Dragon taking a lot of damage as Lucid comes in. Will he be able to get the steal? That's the question. Down to 630, and it is going to be Ona that locks it down. Magnustorm, though, for Korea is pretty good. Ona going low, but it's Lucid to go down first. Showmaker just a little late to the fight, and down goes the Jhin. Korea going to try and canter away, and thanks to the dissonance, he will be able to escape. But a 1 for 2, and Drake goes to T1. That one, definitely T1 favored, and even more so now perhaps, that the crash down is very good here from Korea to deny the play. Faker gets shockwaved by Showmaker though, and he's taking a lot of damage. Getting both the damage from the command attack and
si Faker main locknya udah jago sih guys.
Hold Keria there. He had a huge opportunity to. Maybe thought he didn't have enough damage to kill him. It would have been close.
Akhirnya Faker main locknya jago jir.
To stabilize in lane. It's 1,000 gold the advantage for Shio on this Jax, and it's a volatile, game here where you can definitely come back with a really nice counter-strike play, but this is all that Smash can do in this fight, really, is try to keep them at arm's length here. It's a really easy smite here for the Vi, as initially, it's like, okay, maybe this fight's a little bit too messy, too broken up. Maybe Smash gets something done, but they just isolate him here. Showmaker can't really get access. He doesn't do consistent DPS. The most fed member in the entire game is this Kai'Sa, who has a Kraken Slayer, and she's free hitting, so it's not a good thing for D+. In that fight overall. And once again, T1, yes, they got zoned, but they made the aggressive call there. They punish Career's engage and are able to come ahead the victors here. Almost 2,000 gold ahead, and half of it is Pays'. The other half now is Faker's with 3 kills on the log.
Yeah, he's looking absolutely massive. Storm Surge already done. A lot of the time we do see very early Lich Banes to come on through, but this Storm Surge that's been the development more recently is really doing a bunch of work. Execution is the name of the game, and Faker already 3-1-1, getting a couple of those executions so far in this game. As Smash does complete his cull, as you just saw on the screen, and so Pays' lead is going to be a bit smaller until he takes 16 CS, and then it's going to be much larger again.
Yeah, you can see that cull completion even on the graph.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. I do think that the next fight over this Herald could be game-defining. It's the fight that I think at this point is still very winnable for D+, because it's on the top side of the map, you know, where they have a lot of control. Both top laners do have teleport now.
Yep.
And so if they can win a fight here, they're just right back in it. As maybe Keria is caught.
Yeah, there's a deadly
Oh,
flourish.
no,
He's taking a lot of damage. There's the Hextech ultimatum. Gets himself over the wall. Cease and desist comes on forward. Career in a lot of trouble. As now Smash is fighting Pace, but I don't think he likes those odds. As in come both of the top laners. Ona gets deadly flourish. Shiu not even able to take down the Vikings yet. The flash doesn't work. Keria outplays it. Still a double. Leap strike denied. Pace gets even more, and Faker is picking up so many kills in these fights. 3-0-5
Gawat,
on
Faker udah
Apakah,
bisa main
Faker
lock, Cok.
grabs another kill.
Bahaya.
This is a disaster
Bahaya,
for D+.
Faker udah bisa main lock, Jir.
It's a circus again, but the good kind for T1.
This is
As it turns out,
dangerous,
it's
dangerous.
Not just Faker, who is the come at the king you best not miss. It's Keria too. They get so much lockdown on him, and look at this. Ults here and gets over the wall. So now you've used so many resources to try to kill a Camille, and then Owner's up here in the front line. Both top laners TP in. Doran's here first though.
Faker
and he's
udah
the
bisa
scarier
main
one
lock
in a scrappy fight like this.
sekarang.
Shiu needs a little bit more setup.
TC
And
Sage.
the attempt here from the Jhin to try to turn this fight around is feeble at best. But that's kind of how these fights have been looking for D+ every single time. T1's lead increases here.
Oh dear. This could be dangerous for Shia. They're going to look to finish off this turret and then finish off the Jax. Can he kill Doran in the meantime is the question. The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is no.
Yep.
And they're getting the Herald on the top side. I guess
That's something.
that's something, because the Herald wasn't taken in that previous fight. It wasn't spawned yet.
Oh my god.
But it is very, very messy here. Now let's see what D+ are able to do with this Herald, because they can maybe use it to win a dragon fight here. They got a big wave.
2 items, Wolf.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think of the pauses for D+ right now. Well, there's a lot of good things for T1 right now, Atlas.
Yeah.
Look, they have a Herald. Maybe they could try to use it either in as a combat Herald here if T1 overcommit, or perhaps just to get prio for
4K
this dragon.
gap.
But it's just
Iya
an
loh.
ocean
Si
soul
Pace
here
fat
that
banget ya sama
none of
Faker.
these teams I think are ready to send the
Iya.
whole game over, but T1
Susah
hold
sih
all
kalau
the
udah
cards
snowball
right
itu
now.
loh.
I do think Ocean Soul is incredibly good for an Olaf. So I think D+ probably
Dark
want
Seal-nya
to
7 stack.
deny this if they can. Soul Point is always just so powerful anyway. As Owner with control of this brush. Smash maybe in a little bit of danger, but Owner just going to back away as they do start off this dragon as it spawns. Faker shows up here, and Shiu is still extremely strong.
I think there's a really strong angle here for a fight for D+, because Hayes has no flash, no cleanse. He has to stay so far back.
Keria di
Information is pretty good here as
belakang.
well as they
Owner
spot Keria
masuk,
around, but
Keria
he
juga
still
masuk.
goes in.
Langsung
Cease and desist in the
dibanting.
backline. Showmaker is engaged on top
Faker
lane.
solo
He's
kill.
pretty decent, but down
Sisi,
goes the
wow.
Orianna. It's a solo kill for Faker in the top lane as well. Yeah, I'm
Faker solo kill
understanding
Siu
these
di
like,
atas.
the question mark pings
Menang
that were
lo,
coming
Jax,
out. What
Cok.
the hell happened up there? But 2 are dead as well from D+ on this
Ngeri,
bottom side. And that's
ngeri.
Soul Point to T1.
It's a disaster again. As
Amki,
Lucid wants to
Amki
come up
ini,
here and get the
bos.
Faker punish, and that's a
Montek,
rock. I think he's
montek,
pretty
cek.
quick. I think he's got a bit of mobility. I don't think you're gonna get him. Faker's gonna get out again. And Lucid's just gonna try to catch some of this jungle here as a bit of a consolation prize.
Oh my goodness. This is really fallen by the wayside quickly, has it not?
It's
Si
somewhat
pelukis gak main
reminiscent of the
lagi.
last time
Enggak.
we saw these teams match
Debutnya
up
kurang
where
kemarin.
D+ just fell a little bit too far behind early with some aggressive team
Di
fights.
ban ini
and
mah
then
next
T1
apa
run away
next
with the game.
next match di ban
T1 doesn't
ini.
always scrap, but you don't want to scrap with T1 as Faker just avoids the counter strike, and then he's like, you're dead.
Yeah.
Holds him in point blank range.
Ketemu
and
lagi,
he's like, I
ketemu
will hit
lagi
that
di ban
threshold.
gak sih?
I've got my storm surge.
Anjir.
And
Gak
I think
ulti loh
Shiu,
itu.
he knew he had to try to do something there, but there wasn't much he could do. His engage is amazing, right? Keria and Owner collapsing it on
Apa
top of
ulti duluan
Showmaker
tadi
here.
dia?
There's not enough damage because they have a
Miss ba
Jhin
tadi?
as their secondary source of damage. Their Jax is dead, not able to join the fight. But the snap engage, this dive comp is incredibly powerful, especially from ahead.
Yeah, and
Dia
now
mau langsung
Faker's
diinjonya
actually
anjir.
building defensively. Pei's going aggressive onto Smash here, but the arm guard that Faker has is going to make life so much more difficult
Faker
for
langsung
D+,
bikin Zonya.
and he's getting closer and closer to just having a Zonya, so he doesn't even need to worry about breaking it or anything like that at this stage. Smash has gone for the in 5 items I'm going to do damage build, and I don't think he's going to get there. I think this game is already kind of feeling on its last leg. 6,000 gold the lead for T1, and turrets has fallen all over the place.
when Faker gets that extra bit of durability plus the zone which is completed.
Kirain pelukis tadi yang main, hampir aja keluar meme welcome to
He
Hanwha
will
Live
be able to get
Owner.
a second set of combos off. One of the things about Locke, I've dubbed him the cheerleader when he's not doing well. He doesn't have agency.
Painter mainnya nggak jelek kok,
The ability
cuma
to burst him down when he goes in
ya
for his
setelah
initial ult
dipikir-pikir
drop and
bagusan
combo, you
owner
can kill him
ternyata anjir.
quickly. So often he just kind of waits for
Memang
the rest of the team to do
udahlah
the work,
owner
and
aja
then
lah.
he's the finisher, he's the closer. But when you actually have Azonias, you can be the starter and the
Yo,
ender
yo,
of
yo.
the team fight.
Miss
You can go in
Q 2 kali.
first, layer all that damage,
Okay.
and drop your ultimate down, and then pop out
Oh,
Azonias and do it
Showmaker,
again.
Shockwave dipakai.
Well, Lucid
Ada
looking for an
Lucid
angle
datang.
towards Faker here.
Apakah
Let's see
Owner
whether
bisa
he can
selamat
outplay it.
Q-nya?
As
Cuma kena
Audacious
sekali.
Charge
Ulti
does
dipakai,
come on
dia langsung pakai
through.
zonnya.
There's
Tapi
the
dia bisa
purgatory.
nolong. Kira
And
masih
Faker
jauh,
is
dia
going
dash.
then try and
Terus
use that
ada
accuracy
satu
to
lagi,
get
3
himself
orang
out, but I
ngejar
don't think it's going to
Faker.
work. E3
Tentu
health still
saja
goes down,
susah
and
kalau
Lucid
3
going
orang
to
mah
claim that kill. What are they
cucu.
getting on the cross map though? That's the question. And the answer
Buset.
is Smash. As the cease and desist is going to come on in.
Tukeran.
And you didn't need to tell him
Tukeran.
twice. He is just dead.
Tukeran,
Gonna get
tukeran ya,
smashed
tukeran.
and the whole turret. And that's a huge prize considering they did not lose
Tukeran.
their turret to Herald. Herald is still in inventory, by the way. The one thing that D Plus got this game hasn't even been used yet. They still have their turret up. They get the mid turret Heraldless on
Habis zonnya dia
the
bikin
cross
apa? Langsung
map.
Shadow Flame ya biasanya.
And it's just a whole disaster here again. I mean, I keep using that word, but like
I
nothing
mean,
is
it's pretty
going right.
disastrous, Wolf. I can completely understand.
I mean, this is Carrier tries to rotate up and Faker calls off the play. You can see the moment on the minimap where Carrier's like, okay.
Yeah, he's like, I'm dead, just take mid.
Yeah, and they all
Tapi
just
hampir
swarm
selamat
smash.
sih itu.
He thinks he's safe between two
Kalau
turrets.
nggak terlalu
What he
banyak
doesn't
lah.
know is Camille in his jungle.
Udah jago, Faker udah
flying
jago
through
loknya.
a Vi Camille. This is the Vi draft angle we were talking about with this
Udah
amount of
jago.
burst.
Dia
with
nggak
the
pakai
Kai'Sa
flash
fall,
tadi,
but
anjir.
Kai'Sa not supposed to be as fed as she is, but when she's
Kagak
fully
dipakai
fed,
flash sih, Cok.
I guess Vi is good, man. I guess it works.
Yeah, and she's a very good win more champion, always has been. And I also think, like, remember, the Vi was picked third here. They already had a bit of a draft identity to understand how this was going to work, as Lucid goes in onto Pays, and then goes in onto Shelly and starts doing
what
donuts.
the
and decides
That's
that
how they use the Rip Herald.
This Herald is just
okay.
going to do nothing at all.
I mean, that's fine.
That's
Daripada
the state of
dipukulin
the
ya kan.
game.
Yeah, that's the state of D Plus right now. Not really understanding what
Daripada
they're
dipukulin ya udah.
supposed to be going for, not able to use their resources all that effectively. And when you're this far behind, I mean, we're not going to give them too much beef for it, but it is a bit problematic. Showmaker's also pretending to be Ryze and Cassiopeia, but is instead a Clockwork Lady. And I don't know whether I like the build as much, but he is going to be quite tanky and will be able to avoid death from Faker relatively
I think at
effectively
this point,
as well.
for D+, you have to build like this as Showmaker, and you have to hope that even though you have to put yourself in harm's way and play greedily and play riskily, that you can have one shockwave that sets up a Rel or Jack's follow-up. Because you have to win this game off a mistake from T1. If they're too clumped, and you have that one opportunity, that one moment, you
Apa
can steal this game away because this
Doran
comp is
dan Faker
incredibly
menang
powerful
lane
from
tidak
behind if you can
mungkin.
wombo,
Chill out
T1.
bro.
But T1, I
Musuhnya
don't think
Siwu.
they're going to give you that chance. I don't think they're going to give you that
Just
opportunity.
chill.
You have to pray for it if you are D+, because that's the one way
Aman
back
aja,
into this game.
lawannya
It's some
Siwu.
sort of crazy setup.
Yeah, but I just don't think they have the damage, right? Especially if this Ocean Soul comes in for T1. The opening salvo needs to kill Pays before he can press ult. The problem is he's got Cleanse. He's got so many other options here. Thankfully, I mean, Carrier's playing Camille, so he doesn't have Mikhails or anything like that. So there's only one Cleanse they need to worry about. But I don't know. I think
Siwu
Pays
versus
probably got
Faker
enough
lagi,
money
round 2.
in his hordes of cash.
Nggak mau, gue mau lihat bawah. Kamera, bawah.
This
Yeah.
posturing for D+, but the Dragon is being taken.
Oh,
She
shit.
can't even get
Okay.
access to the fight.
Miss Q.
Yeah, she was just going to have to walk away. The curtains are being called, but Faker is just going to look for Smash. Doran taking a lot of damage, does
Oke,
pull the
Faker masuk,
trigger, is
kena
now
exhaust,
the exhaust
langsung
on the
pakai
cake.
Q ulti
Faker's
dipakai,
decent.
execute-nya,
Purgatory goes down and they all just
dapat langsung
explode.
si
Smash
Lucid
gets
mati, Cok.
encircled completely.
Faker
And
hunting
she was
lagi,
just wondering where the heck his
Basif,
teammates
Q,
went.
double
There's the
triple kill,
counter-strike.
wadah
It should
kill
be a
untuk Faker,
quadra hit for
oh
Faker.
shit.
His Pays will be taken out.
Oke,
But that
triple
is
kill, triple
all.
kill, triple
That's the
kill.
only thing they get for the ace
Hampir
for T1.
kuadra,
They will
hampir
get
kuadra.
Ocean Soul,
Gelo.
and they will likely be able to
Langsung
open up
tampil,
this mid-turret
Cok.
if they want to commit to it, but they can also just use the prio. They have to go straight to Baron. As Owner's on smite duty, double time here across both objectives. Post the fight.
Izin
Baker's gonna push
tampil,
deep. Looks
Wak.
like they're not
Izin
gonna go for Baron
tampil.
just yet. These death timers are still pretty small here. We're only 25 minutes or so into this game. Actually, only 23 and a half. As watch Siu in this fight. Like, he can't get access here, and then he's like, well, when they go on Showmaker, he'll Shock Blast, and I'll follow. He's like, I'm waiting for your call, Showmaker, on this one. This Baker's still denying him entry, right? When the carry a buy engage comes through again, she was like, I'm waiting for that Shockwave. I
Itu
thought there
langsung
was no
hilang,
Orion on my
Wak.
team. I didn't see any
Orang-orang.
shockwaves. He just leaves right away. He's like, no, there's nothing I can do. At least is able to get a kill back here.
Hampir
And
kuadrat.
it is a shutdown. 1,000 gold, almost 1,100 gold goes over to him on that play. So that's something. You know, he's only 79 gold behind.
There you go.
Ah, ini
He got that
bisa
arm
buat
guard that I was
konten sih
talking
kalau
about
ini
that,
guys.
You know, as soon as you get a bunch of money, you can take
Nah,
that one.
yang
He
ini
has
bisa
that.
gua upload
And
nih buat
again, we're going
konten.
back to square one here with
Faker
D+,
man
have
lock.
to go for some sort of Hail Mary and look for a wombo. Maybe even starting the Baron if T1 back here away and looking for that kind of crazy turn could be the way to steal this game away. As Shiu has top damage in the game.
Just
Yang ini
hasn't
bisa buat
really
konten
seemed to
nih.
matter as he spent a lot of the game just smacking Doran around. Doran's 6-2-8. Like, the scoreline looks great. Unintentional rhyme, I apologize. But it hasn't really... It's funny because she was still just so massive here in this game. Just quietly in the team fights, Doran's making it happen. Ona finding an angle towards Korea, though. There's a great shattering strike to try and get rid of the vibe, but he's still taking so much damage. Crashes away, and there is Faker with the execute. As Lucid also throwing out his ulti, but I just don't know whether it's going to be enough to save Shiu, who's on the other side of the fight, just dying. Ona going to Volt break him, and down goes the Jax once again.
You almost killed the Olaf, but he had flash and you didn't. And so, didn't even get anything on that side of the fight.
And it's a 9,000 gold lead.
Yeah, it's a 9,100
Faker
gold
legendary
lead.
tuh. Satu kill lagi.
I had to follow up with something.
Yeah.
As they get the Baron, they push it to 10K, they're going to get this inner. And now we're just reading gold leads, and we're reading the obituary of D+, so there's no way back in this game anymore. Even if you get a wombo combo, I don't think you can win a fight. Like you said, the damage is so minuscule.
And this is one of my favorite things as well, because I feel like this has been a plan from T1s from the very beginning of the draft, right? With their ban strategy, it is bait the Orianna pick, and then use it to give Locke a lane that Faker is very comfortable playing. I don't necessarily feel like this is like Locke favored or anything, but it's very obvious that Faker is super confident in this matchup specifically, and man, have they really gone to town on it.
Yeah, Shiu doesn't have flash to follow Doran there. Doran just heals back up. Now they've got Ocean Soul. I've had it for a little while here.
Faker shouldn't have been given the nail gun, Wolf. As Lucid is in a lot of trouble. Shockwave
Oke, nah
does come on through,
Shockwave
though.
nggak
Faker will
untuk
be
Faker.
shut down.
Ajar!
Clockwork Windup going to be helping out there.
Udah Bang
Showmaker does
Faker,
get
itu
that
Sinzao
kill.
pengen main Bang Faker.
I don't think so. He doesn't
Jer.
have flash, but he has his ult.
Itu
He's
dendam
level
banget
17,
si
she's level
Faker sama
15.
Sinzao. Coba.
She was winning by like 2,000 gold in
Jajan
this game.
counternya
It's
lock
insane.
ya, Sinzao
Doran
ya?
really
Sakit
has
banget,
just
anjing.
become a behemoth in the later stages of this one.
Kagak mempan kah
11,000
Q-nya,
gold.
ultinya
A lot of
Sinzao.
it is thanks to his
Lawan
teammates,
Q-nya
but
lock.
Doran has been a huge benefactor here as two siege minions looking to take down this bottom inhibitor turret, and everyone else on T1 is looking to push through mid. And I don't know whether D+ are going to be able to do anything about it. Doran does take a lot of
Sinzao-nya
damage
pengen
from making
main
it.
Bang Faker, udah Bang Faker.
She was so mad. He's so ready to just fight whatever's in front of him.
Yeah, he really is, but unfortunately for him, I don't think he's going to ever have another chance in this game. And T1, I mean, they haven't been able to end the game. There's an Orianna on the other side, so the wave clear is pretty intense, but this was a bit overzealous from Faker. Look at how far away Keria is. I think if Keria is a little bit closer here, this is so easy.
Gokil.
But he just gets
Oh,
pressing
hilang.
guard
Terlepas.
pressing guard denied as Showmaker shows up here. I mean, it's pretty close
Kena
by,
semua
but
skillnya.
it just doesn't matter, you know? Like, if this was a game-losing play, people would criticize Faker for, oh, maybe he should have realized, but like, it's just not.
Yeah,
He's not even. He's laughing probably in the death chamber. He probably doesn't care at all.
It's a 3,000 gold lead for just Faker. Over Showmaker right now, this Orianna is so far behind here in this game. As
Di
they are
mana
going for an engage
sirkusnya?
on the Pace.
Oh,
He's
turun
going to go
Pace,
golden.
Pace
I
tolong
don't know
cok.
whether that's going to be
Mana
enough to
Keria?
save him. His Danny will go
Alamak.
distance is going to be there to finish him off.
I mean, if a few more of these mistakes happen,
Yeah,
then we could start talking about it.
Faker udah carry loh, Pace loh, jangan nge-sirkus loh.
Somewhere in backstage, like I'm a little bit interested in how this one's sort of moving right now.
Well, I think
Doran,
in this
Doran,
moment,
Doran, Pace super
FaZe
ready.
might not have been able to correctly
Doran.
use fire.
Let's go Doran, ulti!
Well,
Kejar
Doran's gonna look to
Showmaker!
dive on top of Showmaker,
Kabur,
and
mundur
that is
lagi
gonna be a
anjing!
mistake.
Sakit toh!
And he just runs his way out of there. Successful escape.
Doran,
But
oh shit!
he
Shit!
is going to have to avoid a few of these shots. Ona just gets in front of the Olaf and is able to defend him.
That would have been very comical if it
Doran.
still somehow killed him. But Bounty gold, you know? Elder's
it's
up in 40 seconds.
Yeah, this is problematic. Pace is going to be up in 5, so they will be able to get together. But based on what we've just been seeing, maybe we're on...
Doran tried, chat. Doran tried.
It was a shellacking, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, unfortunately, there's just too many buttons for Pace to outplay there. Like, he has Cleanse and Flash. His Flash was amazing, but if it was just the one engage, then D+ wouldn't have gone for it, right? They had all the follow-up there, and he didn't have any friends nearby. And it was a good play from D+. I would say if you're Pace, you're just trying to maximize your advantage in that moment, and got a bit overzealous just like the moments before. They still get prio for this Elder. Doran is showing up here. He does have TP, but won't even need it, it looks like here. Now let's see who they kill this time with the Vi Camille engage. That's the same, you know, rinse and repeat we've been seeing for every single objective fight is Keria and Owner. Support jungle, kill the carry. And the carry has not really been the Jhin. It's been Showmaker they keep killing.
Itu movement speednya emang rada bangke lock ya. Lama banget anjir.
Wraparound of his life.
Untung itunya bukan Cloud Drake ya, Dragon-nya ya. Si Lock sama Cloud Drake itu sumpah haram anjing.
Now as he makes his way in, Ashiu is just looking to push this wave forward, put the pressure on as the Elder is getting started by T1. Decent vision. Yeah, decent vision here for D+ right now.
Literally dia punya ghost itu, ghostnya lama banget anjir. Oke, Owner masuk, ulti dipakai sama Faker buat nge-slow, ultimate dipakai sama Showmaker untuk cover. Oh, ada warnya 2 di mana ini? Lihat yang mana, Cok? Oke, Pace dikejar. Oh, sakit banget Faker, Wak. Anjir, legendary. Dia pentar. Hilang. Bang, udah bang, udah bang, udah bang, kasihan itu orang belum digaji, jir. Kasihan ini tim volunteer, Cok. Oh tidak. Tim amal anjing dibantai-bantai, kasihan batu. Bang, udah bang, mereka belum digaji bang. What the fuck? Astaga. Gelo. Belum 30 menit udah Elder, Lucid sibuk tamasya. Lucid dibantai Faker, anjir. Si Faker dendam apa sama Lucid, Cok? Dari tadi. Faker dendam apa sama Lucid, Cok? Nongol dikit di-kill sama Faker. Gokil.
Yeah, I also think that it might have been a bit personal as well from Owner. You know, he's just like coming back like this is my rightful place. I am sorry everyone.
Gokil T1 mukulin orang tidak punya gaji, kasihan banget, kocak.
We were used to it. We got a little bit confused when that happened.
Damage Faker. Di atas Pace, that was rare.
We've been casting him throughout the Kesper Cup and he's been brilliant. It's just unfortunate.
Di atas Pace lo ya.
When Canyon was the jungler, like what's she gonna do? I don't know.
A comeback game of a century, you know. It's
that was rare.
It's a big one. As look at the damage share across T1 is almost.
Ini T1 home ground.
It's crazy that Doran did as much damage.
Openingnya tadi ada K-pop nyanyi guys. Pas mulai. Kalau nggak salah. Ada penyanyi K-pop tadi sebelum mulai match ini. Cowok gak tahu, gue gak nonton K-pop. Gak tahu siapa yang nyanyi.
But ladies and gentlemen, we are blessed because this is the LCK. It's a best of 3. D+ have a chance to even out the series. We'll see whether they can after this break and the space to break down this game.
Gak tahu siapa yang nyanyi ya tadi openingnya. Tapi di YouTube kayaknya nggak ada, Aina. Lu harus nonton di sub kayaknya kalau mau lihat yang nyanyi. Di YouTube kayaknya copyright deh.
치워야 나와 얘네.
시작. 좀 더 끌어야 돼.
끌어.
끌고 그냥 쌈 건다.
확인. 5초.
얘 순차 한번 태워줘.
오케이. 뺄게 일단. 땀 보는 거야?
쌈 볼게. 오케이.
형이.
오케이. 진 받고 나 간이 있어. 진 잡았지.
잡아. 꼬리 잡았거든. 뒤에 봐. 정리 봐. 나안 줘.
얘 미들 아까. 난 짜고 쫓아갈게.
엑스 3명 이거 라인. 잡았어? 미드 갈게. 나 짜고 잡을게.
짜고 지금 못 가.
안 잡아도 끝나겠다. 나 미드 갈게. 1대 얘기지?
일단 여기.
Gila abis match mahal kayak gini kita disuruh nonton Nongsi Mama Bro gitu. The quality. The quality drop tuh. Abis nonton DK sama T1 nonton Nongsi Mama Bro malas jujur. Ada malas-malasnya gitu. Nongsi versus Bro seru loh. Aku pengen lihat dia belajar tadi. Nonton sih nanti gua, tapi offline kayaknya. Hmm, 2 menit ngapain nungguin ya? Pesnuk. Yang bisa saya lakukan hanyalah main Pesnuk. During FGO Fest, apa nih? During FGO Fest, was a heated discussion among the writer about what under the zipper of Lily's chat swimsuit, which split into 3 factions. Those who say there's lining, who say there's no lining, and those who say it's just decoration. And it reached peak of chaos, but in the end, it settled that Scrondiger the zipper theory. What the fuck? Kayaknya buka Pesnuk buat nyari resep apa tuh? Orang bahas resleting bra aja ribut aja player FGO. Cuci darah itu adalah cara langsung membunuh diri pelan-pelan. Karena jika tidak cuci darah secara rutin pasti mati. Kenapa dokter menganjurkan cuci darah? Karena bisnisnya lancar. This is a hot taker. Cuci darah adalah cara langsung membunuh diri pelan-pelan. Karena jika tidak dicuci darah secara rutin, pasti mati. Kenapa dokter menganjurkan cuci darah? Karena bisnisnya lancar. Ya, emang entahlah ini orang goblok. Udahlah. Owner main hari ini instead of painter. Itu pemikiran orang, rumah sakit sebenarnya bisnis besar. Ya benar gitu kan biar sembuh. biar lama matinya. Benar, kagak salah. Cuci darah untuk nunda mati. Benar itu. Kan pengen hidup, makanya cuci darah. Apalah orang-orang ini. Cuci darah biar kagak mati, ya kagak salah. Cakep ya. Naksir bet gua. Cantik banget masuk. Kenapa banyak meme fed sekarang aja? Gak Jumatan kah Master? Gas langsung berangkat. Master gak sholat Jumat, lagi OTW. Master jangan lupa Jumatan tolong bajunya dipakai. Kalian bikin langkah set rasa berat. Bininya banyak banget nih. Om gue cuci darah dan syukur 2 tahun om gue masih hidup. Sayang mana mama gue gak mau cuci darah dan akhirnya meninggal. Mungkin mamaku gak mau membebani keluarga ya. Ya itulah orang tua ya, gak mau nyusahin anaknya. Padahal mah kalau anaknya mah pengennya orang tuanya panjang umur gitu kali. Tapi emang mahal cuci darah jir. Main guguk. Guguknya Doran. Guguknya Owner. Femker. Pilihannya lucu guguknya yang gitu. Face. Muka guguknya kayak kagak ikhlas banget, jeng. Like I don't think that dog want to be there. What's that dog doing? Guguk Keria. Oh lucu. Au. Ini namanya Awang. Kan nama kayak orang Jawa guys. Ini nama guguknya Awang. Orang Jawa cok. Orang Jawa. Jawa iki. Scroll ke bawah ada polycrystal rose. What the AI AI. Ini lucu sih. Ini bagus cok. Holy shit, this is hot. Lah ini bagus iki. Lah iki bagus toh. Oh god. Alamak. What the fuck? Bentar. Kita harus meneliti art ini. We need to. Alright. Interesting. Interesting. I'm respectfully look at it. Interesting. Asli mana bang? Asli gue udah gak kuat anjing. Gak kuat gua. Bentar lagi pidato itu orang gendut anjing 3 hari lagi, Cok. Ingin rasanya jadi budak dulu tanggal 17 ya. Shit lah. Oh iya, nanti jam 4 ada tim kesayangan kita, guys. Match terakhir CFO. Pengen nonton sih, tapi kita berarti gak nonton nongsi mah penonton CFO abis ini. Bisa sih. Abis ini nonton CFO Ini juga penasaran nasibnya CFO last match. Ini kalau kalian tahu lore-nya dark sih, yang ini dark sih. Jadi dark sih aja. Downfall gak kayak menang T1. Ini dark, Cok. Jujur. Jadi ini ceritanya katanya zaman prasejarah katanya orang suka dianu sama Pokemon anjir. Lore akurat by the way. Parah banget, Cok. This is scary AF, man. Ih, seramnya. A 100 kilogram? What do you mean she's 100 kilogram? 100 kilogram wife? But that was heavy. I'm not even 65. Graphic?
And they're looking very dominant right now.
They really are. And I feel like exactly what you were talking about is what was ringing true, right? They were playing around the weaker side of the map. And that was playing right into T1's hands. Even though it's a Kai'Sa, right? You don't necessarily skyrocket
BTW ini stage yang sama yang dipakai waktu Worlds 2022 deh kalau salah. Stage yang ini.
And that was a bit of a problem. Let's see though, as they pivot moving towards this.
Buset, orang dulu dianu Pokemon. Iya, Polta. Itu akurat, lore akurat BTW, canon. Jadi waktu zaman dulu orang suka dianu sama Pokemon. Canon by the way. Dark anjir lore-nya Pokemon.
We'll see whether anything else gets through because I feel like here in this game number 2, the Rise stocks are what are really starting to rise, especially Rise. Oh, I'm sorry about that. The Casio ban coming on through is really going to make that one feel potent.
I agree. I think that you're going to see that Mark, you're going to see that Nocturne. Like I said, the third ban is a little bit more flexible here. Because you have first pick, T1 might ban the Rise themselves in that third spot. They take the Jace away. I'm surprised to see that.
No, I like it because the Olaf has already been taken, right? So now the Jace feels a whole lot more free.
Maybe Doran is not interested in playing Yorick right now, especially not playing it early in the draft and messing up the bottom lane. That's another part of this is, you know, T1 have been drafting most of the time through their bottom duo. Didn't have
katanya meta PC mau dihilangin ya?
So,
iya.
be that bottom duo, but with no Nocturne, I think Lulu probably
apa ya kemarin sama Camille support mau di nerf. Hope apa Hell of Blade di nerf. Jadi gak ada lagi tuh support kayak Shen, kayak Camille, kayak Skarner.
And it's CB Max. He
Terus
also has
APC mau di nerf-nya tuh gimana ya kemarin ya?
That's very Showmaker flavored.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like that Rise first
Oh
pick
bukan, cara di
is
nerf-nya
getting
tuh
better and
sepatunya
better.
ADC mau di buff deh kalau salah.
Just checking, that's real. We're not...
ADC sepatunya di buff.
It is Showmaker.
Jadi
so I
orang
understand
bakal
the
jarang pakai mage
respect
lagi di bot
given
lane.
with the Syndra ban, but I do think the Rise was a better
Terus
choice.
Hell of Blade buat support yang damage itu bakal di nerf.
I actually I respect this because Paze is ridiculous on the Ezreal, and Smash has had some great performances on this one. It was part of the reason, I believe, if memory serves, that they were able to win EWC.
Yeah, it is. I mean, remember he had that true
Bete
shot
kemarin
barrage.
katanya mau nobar EWC semua MOBA lah. Kan kita nonton MLBB
The Rise will go over as
kemarin.
a result though. And the other thing is that it's Faker's Rise.
Tapi gue
so
pulkam pas pas
pros column for D+, I would say.
Hauka pulkam dir.
I don't think this is a good idea this early in the draft, but if you want to have fun, then it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think this is a hover. And I'm
Masuk
not going to get baited.
pulkam
I'm not
gua.
going to get baited, Wolf. They're going to lock in Pantheon. And this is exactly what happened yesterday. And Valdez called it out. He's like, no, pick Pantheon. And then they immediately switched to Pantheon.
They get
I wasn't
Rise
brave enough to
Pantheon.
do it.
And you got Ezreal.
You
PT
did.
owner
And
satu
now
match
Lucy's gonna
doang
get the
diganti.
return hover.
There
Iya,
you
ternyata
go.
dia diganti bukan karena performanya kemarin, gara-gara apa?
Also available.
Gara-gara
I like the
keluarganya
Lee Sin
dia meninggal.
It looks like maybe I don't know whether Lee
what?
Sin Talia feels that good.
Izin dia izin.
I don't think there's a mid pairing right now left available that you like with the Lee Sin.
Yeah.
So instead we're just gonna grab the Ezreal card.
Kayaknya pulkam grup layat, Aina, Macropek main yun.
You know that much.
Well, this is the thing. We saw this picked yesterday, and it wasn't actually able to be played through. And it was largely because on the other side of the rift there was a Caitlyn Bard situation. This was game one, KMDRX versus BNK Fearex, and it didn't work. But we'll see
Gara-gara
whether
pergi ke
D+
acara
can
ulang
play
tahunku
to
deh.
it a little bit better than what we saw yesterday.
Ulang tahun lu barengan sama
Okay, we have
tahlilannya
Terra. I was like, is he pulling something
Omnya
out weird here as a
Honor.
counter pick for the second phase? I don't think so. The Bidoran's most played champion of the tournament in Ambessa.
ada orang
Now,
tahlilan
they get
sambil
to
ngerayain ulang
protect
tahun
both
ya.
of these picks with a ban each, or they could go all in to protecting one of them.
I'm starting to wonder though, what is Showmaker going to play here? We saw Lissandra yesterday. I think that works well with the Jarvan, but I don't think you.
I don't think it works as well in an Ezreal comp either.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of want to have a hyper carry.
Like, I think Showmaker could play Ahri here, but like you said, then you don't have the hyper carry. If they're planning on just picking Victor here for Showmaker or something like that, I know he's been great on the Victor, I just don't think it's going to come together the way they want, because they're playing a double globals here. You need something that's powerful, something that can control the lane.
He's going to play Talia. He's going to play Talia. That's what I have in my brain. That's what the voices are telling me, because it can sort of match the globals.
So the ban on the Nautilus prevents a Nautilus Misfortune lane, which is one of the only lanes that can kind of fight its way out, I think, of what's left available here. Maybe they ban Nautilus and Lulu, and they're scared of the Lulu in this draft with the Ambessa there, but
I wouldn't mind it. I feel like the Lulu could certainly work.
I don't think you have to ban Vayne here to protect the Ambessa, but they probably will.
I feel like a Vayne ban feels
Locknya
like
Faker
the
jago
tax
gak
that
kayak,
should be paid.
wush,
But the Talia
hampir
is coming
quadra
out.
kill tadi.
They had the voices too.
Literally itu mah
They do
one
it.
trick,
I feel so
one
much
trick
less
clock
alone.
gitu udah.
It's beautiful.
Di banter mah
I feel
ketemu
like you
Faker.
could look at it two ways. You could be like, oh, I guess I'm not the smartest one. I'm not the only one who knew, but I think also
Udah
you just
kelihatan
look more
spam
smart
lock
now.
itu
Hey.
They
pas
also
solo
knew.
queue.
I mean, I'm not smart. It's the voices, Wolf.
Oh, okay,
The
there you
voices
go.
were smart.
So is it a Lulu ban, or is there another play here? Is there another plan?
Mau
Maybe
gua klip tar buat
Caitlyn?
konten.
Because Caitlyn Lux is scary. We don't want to deal with that.
I wouldn't mind the Caitlyn ban, actually. But Yunara going to be taken away instead. Not even going to worry about the whole Lulu angle. They're just going to ban that Yunara away. Now we're going to reveal half of T1's
Hayes
bottom
is
lane.
like, it's not that meta, but I once beat this very team playing a lot of Zeri.
Tapi Faker kalau bisa main lock, kenapa kagak bisa main Aurora ya? Perasaan
Zeri
gampangan
Lulu?
Aurora.
Lucian Nami?
Oh, God, no.
I think Aurora is easier though.
Valdez is safe, however, I don't think that's necessarily going to see. I think they should have banned Caitlyn here.
I mean, Caitlyn
It's
Lux.
Carrier. Like,
Caitlyn Lux feels pretty good.
it's Carrier. They have point-and-click CC with the Pantheon to set bindings.
Karena Faker bukan Fury.
And they don't even need
Aurora
to set
mah
up
kehitungnya bukan
bindings.
Fury
It's
gak sih?
Carrier. He just hits him.
Kehitungnya
That's
Tobruk.
ridiculous. But let's see what D+ are going to have as the answer.
Vayne feels pretty good, but you don't have great engage. You only have the Jarvan. If you want to just play Vayne into this, it's risky. You could pick Gnar, If he's confident into it, like, ooh, the Aatrox actually goes pretty hard. I kind of like
Tobrut
that.
pa Yumi,
That pick the
orang
most. I didn't
sakit,
really have it in
anjir.
mind, but it's a pick that allows you to brawl with this, Karma setup. I like this pick a lot here in this draft.
I'm kind of into it, especially with the fact that you have the Karma there.
Oh iya,
as well to
carry-nya
speed
bisa
up,
main Lux
get
ya.
him into position.
Tapi lawannya
Showmaker
Karma.
does like
Lawan
the
Karma
Nvidia
susah.
matchup into the Rise, but I
Apa ya?
personally like
Caitlyn.
the Twisted Fate. Allows you
Twisted
to
Fate follows the
play
globals.
to the globals exactly right.
And it gives you the ability to have one more
Apa
piece
bener
of
Lux ya?
engage in the draft that's running a Karma. I think that D+ really fixed this draft. Like, I didn't think they were necessarily going to be able to figure it out once that Talia was banned, but they were able to do it. And I shouldn't have been surprised, because it's Showmaker,
Oh,
one of the most
Milio.
iconic Twisted Fate players of
Enak
all
sih ini
time.
landingnya,
I don't think
scaling.
Caitlyn needs to shoot more far, but Carrier disagrees.
Dibully di lane
You do
tapi
shoot
scaling ini
ridiculously far.
bareng
That's
Milio.
kind of good, but you also have the ultimate. So when Showmaker
Atau
does
Lux
show
aja.
up and throws out the gold card, there's an option, but instead
Lebih
Carrier
aman.
is going to
Lebih
provide
aman
defense.
main Lux aja.
That's what the crowd wanted.
Oh yeah.
That's what we wanted. That's what we expected. As the draft comes together, I think with T1, they made all the obvious choices in this draft. Like, not one pick from their side was surprising. And for us,
Kalau
I think we were
bentukan
somewhat
Yahoo terus
surprised by
apapun
the
gas
Aatrox
aja gua
coming
mah
from
what
Geo
what
and
the
then Showmaker pulling out Twisted Fate because they're less meta, they're less common. But with these players,
Tebak ya, Skeria apakah bakal pakai skinnya atau tidak?
I think not only ended up getting a really nice
Apakah
draft, but a
Caitlyn
draft that
bakal
works
pakai skin
incredibly well for
Dev?
these 5
Gila
players.
kangen banget gua sama
Smash on
Dev
Ezreal,
co itu
Karma
husbando
is very
aing
good.
Dev jir.
It is a volatile
Bodoh
bot lane,
amat.
but it's a tough one for
Dramok
them
dramok
now. They
gua.
put so many resources in
Dramok
that
kalau
Karma,
sama
still
Dev
want to
jir.
Caitlyn Lux.
My husbando itu
And
cok
they can win it
gak mau
anyways.
tahu.
This is the thing that's really interesting to me. Like, I just hope that we're
Kangen
glued
Dev
to the bottom
cok.
lane for, like,
Dev
the first
please
10
kembali ke
minutes.
Katie
Because I
Dev.
think that is going to show so
Dev!
much about how this game is going to go. Because D+ puts so much into the bottom lane winning. And Caitlyn Lux really does struggle to lose in the early stages of the game. And I feel like Ezreal Karma are really going to have to play perfectly in order to make this one work. And I find that weird to say, right? Because it's such a powerful lane.
You thought you had the free win. And, and FaZe and Carrier said no.
And the way FaZe and Carrier play this is just so incredibly oppressive as well. So I cannot wait to see what is going to happen there towards the bottom side of the
Kemarin
map.
aku main
Let's get
bareng
on to the
Makawet
rip.
sambil stream terus ada
Game
yang
number
ngomong
2.
suara kita sama. Kok bisa? How the fuck? Suara gue mirip semua orang apa? Kayak suara lu mirip Kayla. Terus ada lagi. Kayak suara lu mirip siapa tuh streamer itu yang streamer LoL zaman dulu.
But that is kind of what
Si
happens
siapa?
when it is the T1 home ground. And
Streamer
so we'll
LoL,
just have
streamer
to
LoL.
see whether D+ can do what they did in France, right? They did this. It was a pretty blue crowd. Showmaker's
Bukan
gonna
Sido,
gold
bukan.
card the
Sido
heck out
salah,
of that
Cok.
melee minion. And he absolutely did. Nicely done.
Streamer LoL yang main Diana siapa sih? Bukan The Boss anjir. Cewek-cewek siapa sih?
This lane, obviously every single Montreal Q needs to have high value. That is the name of the game for this lane. Smash will get hit by this one.
Oh man. Making peace with it, I think. As FaZe does get at least tagged by that Mystic shot, but still.
So Smash has to take, in this matchup, cleanse because of the bindings.
Main Diana dia, pokoknya main Diana sama Olaf Jungle
You
lupa
you
namanya
are laning
streamernya.
into Caitlyn, who has a barrier. So, Caitlyn's not really worried about
Bukan
Karma's minuscule
Pokemon.
CC. So as a result, this
Masa
matchup
kalian
actually
tahu?
also gets a little bit weird here for Smash and Career, who again drafted this thinking they win by default. So
Pro
they're gonna have to
player
use a
AoV,
heal
pro player
to avoid that
AoV.
binding.
At least they are able to punish a little bit, but the snap trap in position, Smash able to collect that minion. And FaZe still with a pretty
Player
big advantage
AoV.
as he stacks this wave up. Shiu and Doran fighting this
Lupa
one
gue namanya,
quite a
Jir.
lot this stage. Both of them taking grasp in this particular matchup. Seen a lot of the Electrocute and Bessemer
Pro player
recently,
AoV itu
but not
loh.
in a matchup like this. As the binding going
Sierra,
to connect, there is a
Enci,
great
Enci.
Peacemaker as Korea takes a lot of
Sierra,
damage.
Sierra.
Still going to be exchanged. A
Sierra.
little bit late as Carrier does throw that one out. At least D+ is still alive. The problem is, I don't know whether
Katanya
that's the
suara aing mirip
state of the
Sierra.
lane that you want.
Kadang
And
ada
it's
lagi
Ezreal
yang bilang
Karma, right? I
mirip
feel like
suara
you are
suara lu mirip
wanting to
Gibran
have
anjing.
that pressure.
Ada juga
I think
yang bilang
Korea
mirip
hasn't
Gibran
lost
tuh.
on this champion. What?
Yeah, there's still a lot of power.
Bisa-bisanya disamain sama Gibran.
Right, he's gonna be at his strongest when Paze is at his weakest, assuming no accidents happen.
Loh Sierra, aku sih mengenalnya sebagai sebagai seorang VTuber. Aku hanya menyebutkan yang perlu saja. Kita mah sebagai warga VTuber harus respect. Harus respect privasi. Betul Faker di geng.
I mean, a flash, flag, and drag might do it, but Faker's running real fast and will escape.
You know, I was talking about the Ahri pick for potential to set up to get them.
Aku mengenalnya sebagai Mang Bini. Semua tuh bini lu.
Twisted Fate ends up doing it so much easier, as you can't really miss the gold card. Faker is gonna hold his ground.
FYFWI, Roach kelar wamil hari ini. Kira-kira kemana beliau? Apakah tetap di T1? Roach yang kelar wamil. Oh si siapa? Si Tom. Apa itu?
Oh my goodness. This is getting a bit ridiculous. He just drops the flag on him.
Yeah, that was
Lucid ketika main Jarvan izin tampil.
I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna greed. I don't have TP. And he pays for it.
Biasanya yang di geng si Pace, Doran, sekarang yang di lock Faker. Ini mah Lucid dendam anjir. Sumpah, dari tadi Lucid sama Faker personal. Ada sedikit kepersonalan di sini. Ada dendam pribadi. Ada dendam di antara mereka. I can feel it.
Still feeling much better if you are Showmaker right now.
Absolutely.
Ya, tadi match 1 kagak dikasih main sama Faker ya, dendam anjing.
Safely enough, but Showmaker just flash gold cards him, and there's just no time to react.
Beautifully played here by D+, and you'd expect that from the man who has the pretty cool skin on this Twisted Fate.
Got those Damwon logos flying around.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Damwon logos. As Faker with this wave in a pretty awkward spot for Showmaker, and Showmaker without his flash does have to play respectfully. And Faker, having not used it, even though he did just die
what was that?
does mean that he, for some reason, has control of this lane. Feels a little bit counterintuitive, but does make a lot of sense when you think about the summoner spells.
Yeah. And the fact that there's a missing Lux on the bottom side of the map.
Yep. And a Pantheon in the game.
Doesn't have level 6 yet, but like you say, still an issue. And once he has level 6, that's when things get a lot tougher here for D+.
Level 6 is being hit across the board. Showmaker with that Destiny Gate now up and available. We'll see whether the first one is going to be successful. This is the problem. They have 1 global, and the bad guys have 2, right? And so if you're a D+ fan, I think it's going to be how well Showmaker uses this in order to guarantee a very fast kill before the rest of the cavalry from T1 arrives.
Smash, you know, obviously going for a different build path because he's Ezreal, but has a little bit of extra combat power here with these long swords in his inventory, and they've turned this lane around a little bit, so getting back a lot of control here. Paze has the Greaves, so it makes it a little bit easier for him to dodge these.
Lucid is already here.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. As now
Lucid
you've
belum
got
ada
a
ulti.
here to deal with on this bottom side.
Yeah, they expect the Pantheon to come down.
Showmaker itu udah di game berapa kali sama Lucid masih kalah lane aja.
As well. It's going to turn to a bit of a scuttle contest here. Even though Showmaker doesn't have Prio, he does have that ultimate you mentioned, so if we have an extended fight here, it's going to be a close
Dike mode
one.
udah cair, gak semangat mainnya. Iya, kocak. Harusnya jangan digaji dulu, Cok. Oke, Faker flash over the wall. Lucid anjir kena snipe. Faker masih dendam sama Lucid, Cok. Kagak. Masih Lucid yang diincar.
You talked about earlier, that's the big difference maker.
Nah, this is Faker versus Lucid, bro. This is
but
personal.
Faker has flash, so what do you do? They spent so much resources trying to kill this Rise. So many resources are expended, but he just flashes the wall, and the fight is lost for D+ in that instant, as it's a fast rotation up from Keria, and the kill does go over to Faker himself, over the wall. So initially here, it's like, okay, I'm trying to set up this play where Owner used his stun, now we turn on to Faker, and Owner can't heal for a second. But Faker has flash, gets over the wall, Owner just holds his shield up. You can't punish Owner in this situation when Faker flashes over the wall because he's got Aegis.
Tadi Q Keria tipis banget ya.
And it's the thing, it's the fact that that flash wasn't on cooldown as Korea taking a full combo. Oh my goodness, headshots just raining from the sky. And Korea does have to go home, did at least have the heal to keep himself alive, but
Oke, smash, oke. Terlalu buru-buru guys si ultinya. Ya, cooldownnya cepet sih, bodo amat ya.
Made it look like he was going to go for the minion auto there, or the minion Q
Gokil
rather.
emang Smash kalau udah main Ezreal
It kind
aja.
of blows my mind that, like, if you think
Ngeri.
about it, Smash and Ezreal are like,
Ezreal
almost the same age.
Kaisa-nya gokil.
And he's just so
Sama
good at
Lucian-nya,
piloting the
Lucian
champion.
jujur Smash jago
Not
banget
even
sih.
how old
Not
Ezreal is,
quite.
but he seems smashy.
Lucian,
Well, he was
Ezreal,
out in the
Kaisa.
release of League of Legends. That was what I was going.
Champion-champion yang bisa
okay, I thought you
ngedash
said
tah
Terrace
si
is
Smash
a
mah.
little bit older than that, but only a little bit.
Only a little bit.
All right, T1 with a slight gold lead, and that is a big deal against the Twisted Fate.
I guess you could say the same thing about Paze and Caitlyn, though, right?
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
Paze getting a little bit older now, but still quite young. Both of these 80 carries in the very early days of their careers.
Which is kind of crazy, given the fact that Paze is already very decorated. He still has one of the most ridiculous records in International League of Legends with the most kills in a single game. And the most pentakills of all time, which is just ludicrous.
Yeah, he's that guy.
He is.
As we are going to have a bit of a gank up here topside. Shiu has flash and his ultimate, but won't do him too much good.
Okay, I mean it's Aatrox. Aatrox can do something about this. Dia menggunakan Wall Ender, langsung di-stun sama Owner. Ada Showmaker datang tapi dia kena stun. Oh, langsung Shiu izin tampil tapi dibantai sama Pace.
Showmaker does cause the 1-for-1. But he does
Gak jadi tampil, dipulangin.
Trouble as its only career and smash down here, but Lucid's going to show up. Let's see whether this dive is going to
Sekarang
work.
giliran Doran harus mempertahankan diri, masuk saja, menggunakan ultimate untuk ngedodge, ada shieldnya, berusaha untuk kabur, semua Lucid berusaha ngejar, tapi towernya gak nembak cuy.
Yeah, that was a
Towernya
very,
kasih
very
karir
close
tadi.
call there. On the top side, T1 are able to avoid the crazy play from Shiu there. He had so much gusto, I would say.
I love the word gusto.
Yeah, I think that was absolutely a gusto moment. Like, that's where gusto needs to be used, where he flashes, gets the lifesteal there.
Langsung tukeran anjir.
So, Shiu here, I
Ini
mentioned
tadi
if they lock him
Keria
down
sih
with the
kayaknya
binding
yang OP
first,
nih.
he doesn't
Showmaker
actually have
baru
any outplay.
datang.
Its owner goes in first place under turret, and then
Kena
Shiu
apa ya?
flashes
Showmaker
here
ya tadi
and
baru datang kagak
almost
gerak ya?
two-shots
Kayak ada yang
Keria.
nge-stun tadi. Apa
Showmaker
kena
shows up,
trapnya
turret
si
ramping.
Pace tadi ya?
That doesn't end up being a mistake. It looks like intentional the way this was set up here by Lucid to make sure they could block the angle onto Career, because Career's got the turret aggro. If he gets hit by that ult, then he just goes down there. Obviously, it would have hit him anyways, but the way that Lucid set it up made it kind of awkward to hit it for Doran. So he is not able to outplay that dive. Does require Lucid's follow-up flash to get the kill, however, as you pointed out. So will be 1,000 gold to lead here for D+. Kind of winning on both sides of the map here in a small way. Could have been worse, though, if Keria also goes down on that topside dive.
The good thing about this for D+ is the fact that Showmaker is going to have like a pre-20-minute fully stacked Rod of Ages, which is not too bad. You can see Faker still just sitting on the Catalyst, and Showmaker already completely done with that item, so going to give him a little bit of an advantage as far as tempo here in this game. And I think mid-game is going to be so important here for D+, because as the game goes on, we know what Paze can do on the Caitlyn. You get to like 4 and 5 items, I just don't think that D+ are going to be able to contend in team fights against this guy and with Faker, who is just going to be dealing out so much damage once those 3 items
Oke, Lucid langsung masuk aja Owner, full stack pasif, tapi damage-nya masih kalah sama Jarvan. Faker mencoba untuk road Showmaker, tapi seperti Owner terpaksa menggunakan flash, dia masih masuk. Lucid.
And they take out Owner.
Wow, that was a very, very thin margin. I think that Lucid had to play through there on that catch.
Jago Lucid kalau main Jarvan emang.
Baker's flash was also just coming back up.
Jago nyodok-nyodok Lucid.
It wouldn't have helped out the play at all, but definitely something they were obviously considering when they decided.
Salah satu user Jarvan terbaik itu Lucid.
Ends up being a kill onto the Pantheon, but also getting his flash. Lucid didn't have flash from the kill.
Tapi emang kagak balance damage Jarvan, anjir gue kesel banget sama itu champion ya.
And as a result, they were able to take the first
Sakit
dragon. It's a
banget,
very
Cok.
late first dragon in this game, but it's also very valuable.
Itunya armor
It's
breaknya.
also very cool that we get a Cloud Soul this game as well, because Earth, Wind, and Fire always happens at least once in a T1 series.
Terlalu
So
broken
that's going to
anjir.
be happening again. I can guarantee it. Unless I get Chemtech, but that's Orcs' fault.
Maksud lo apa
And
bisa
not
nge-break
it's
armor?
guaranteed. As this was just beautifully
Cooldownnya
played
cepet
by
pula,
Lucid
Wak.
Showmaker. Yeah.
Realm Warp here.
All right. Shiu gonna get dove on. Well,
Dora ulti masuk Kushi. Oh tidak, Aatrox kagak main.
The Aatrox does fall down. T1 overloading the top side. Doesn't look like there's much of a cross map though.
Yeah, I mean, Keria is trying to come over and stop this turret from taking a bunch of damage. Career's zoning him away right now and preventing his backs multiple times. So Smash is going to get a lot of damage done. It's a bit of a race here for first turret, but even with these Essence Fluxes, I think it should go the way of Doran. They're on the top side. He's got a full wave on it. He has 3 grubs, so they will not get this first
Gumayo sih gak main, Kak. Gumayo sih udah pindah tim.
This aggressive play from Lucid in the jungle.
Yeah, going very aggressive towards Owner right now, and Owner is in a lot of trouble.
Lihat damage-nya Jarvan, lihat. Lihat.
He is trying to fight it.
Damage-nya. Oke. Wow, they're cooking. Come on, Owner.
Get the slam dunk down and take out the Pantheon. Still Pace is moving up and has Doran in tow. Lucid, can he get a flag and drag out? The answer is absolutely no. And Doran is able to
He cannot drag out.
1-for-1 trade in the end.
Definitely.
They're having a tough time, but I think it's still fine here for T1.
Absolutely still favors T1 on the trade, I think, though. It was so close to being great for D+ there on the catch. Here, I mean, this is just so clean. They chase him away. He has to ult. And then watch this angle here. Faker flashes forward as well, just to make sure they have the lockdown they need. And then here, this is the attempt. But Showmaker doesn't have ult. If Showmaker has ult here, then he can just come on top of Owner and blow him up here with that ultimate. Instead, it's Paze who's actually able to impact the play first with this ultimate. And yes, with the Cataclysm damage coming through, he's still bursting
Masih kurang damage-nya si
But
Paze
Showmaker
ultinya.
awkwardly flashes here, and then Doran shows up. And that
Doran
was
ketika main
not
Ambessa.
the play they were looking for, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was almost, Lucid making the great escape, getting over the wall, getting himself out, but not quite able to do so. Now Doran does have the Eclipse built up, also has a bit of heal deny as well, which is great into the Aatrox. So they're feeling better in this matchup, and especially now with that kill, the assist, moves to about a 900 gold lead versus Xiu. I feel like Xiu is going to be pretty happy though in this game, wants to be in the thick of things in these team fights coming up, and him and Lucid really are going to be the bash bros here in this game.
Let's see if Career can control Prio in mid right now and push this Caitlyn out of the lane so that Lucid has a little bit more agency as flashes back up. I think that's one of the angles they have here to, deny Paze a little bit of farm, start whittling away this turret, turn it into a Herald take. I mean, right now they have so much Prio.
Kakak dukung T1 apa DK? Aku fans DK sih.
To get the advantage there in that mid lane. Showmaker's ult's coming back up, but he's very
Ini
far
DK kalau
away.
menang berarti
It's not quite going to be enough. Does have level 2 in the Destiny
rank
gate,
4 kalau nggak salah ya.
but not quite finding too much more than that. So 5 levels in his Rod of Ages as well. Faker only on 1, as he built his a little bit later. 725 the gold lead, but the biggest lead in the game is Lucid right now.
Cuma kayaknya nggak mungkin menang lah hari
See
ini.
what he can make of it as we hit this mid game and hit
Fans
those
DK
power
pantas
spikes that we were
nge-jinx.
talking
Iya,
about
tim
with
gua
D+.
mah kalah
I think
mulu,
so
jir.
much needs to happen in the next 10 minutes for this red side
Oh, kakak
team,
benci T1.
in order to get a big
Ngefans tim
advantage
lain
moving
bukan
forward.
berarti benci,
They also
kocak.
just dropped control over the
Kecuali
Herald as
Genji.
well
Kalau
over to
Genji emang
T1. I
benci
think
gua.
this was the step 1 of how to get that done in the first 10 minutes. And now there's
Kecuali
no doubt by
Genji
Demon
baru
traps.
benci.
Yeah,
And we
May's
might
gonna
see a
find
late
that
contest.
headshot. Yeah, that late contest is coming in. The Destiny has been popped. That gives them full information as to what's happening here. Lucid picks up the Rift Herald, but let's walk past.
Lo kapan mau nge-push lagi, Dek?
T1 will just back away.
Apa, LOL
Flag
PC?
for information. And Jamaica's still just
besok kali ya?
trying to hold on to this bottom outer turret.
Besok ada match gak? Tergantung besok ada match penting atau enggak. Soalnya lusa main wild trip kayaknya. Bareng Kuro. Aku bencinya Owo. Iya sih guys. Kenapa kita harus membenci tim lain ketika ada seorang gemuk yang bisa kita benci? Setara dengan Dajjal.
Securing the Herald though, still have not been able to do just yet. They will clear this wave. And in fact, not gonna
Bakal
go
sampai
for it
silver
right now.
gak?
Showmaker's gonna TP bottom side, and the
Minimal
Herald
bronze 1
lives
gue sih.
to
Kayak
sit in the
Mbak,
Baron pit
kit gue
another
naik bronze
day.
2 aja lawannya udah silver,
And that's a
cok.
lot of damage onto Korea, but not quite going to be able to
Berat
finish
gak sih
off or
naik
anything
ke
like that. Faker dealing with this wave that
bronze
does
1?
move in.
Mikhail's first
Kemarin
carry
aja
against
lawannya
this
udah mulai
actually is one as
silver-silver,
well,
Wak.
whereas Career does, so that's actually really
Walaupun
valuable in terms
jungle-nya
of what they can do
aneh
in a
sih
snap
mainnya.
fight.
Jamaica finding a fair bit of damage here on to Doran, but now Xiu is in a little bit of trouble.
Trindamer up mastery 500.000. Kagak pernah ngegeng kartus, anjir aneh banget.
He's going to get him so much healing. And without the ambassador there, without that executioner's calling.
Kemarin kita cuma butuh 5 win streak naik ke bronze 2. Hoki kemarin hoki. Sama lu nge-smurf gear.
Because Carrier went up to try to final spark on that attempt on the shoe, which failed in a 2v1. And D+ gets so much map control everywhere as a result of it. They're winning top side, they're winning mid, and they're winning bottom side. So now they're going to be able to get that Herald without even a team fight here. This is exactly what they're hoping for with all the damage that Smash is putting on.
Iya, masternya 500.000. Kemarin gue ketemu Trindamir master 500.000 tapi mainnya nggak jago anjir. Dia selama ini main 500.000 mastery ngapain aja, Cok? Kalah sama kartus mastery 17.000-an.
He's walking up. Pretty dangerous into this Ezreal, but doesn't quite have 2 items just yet. Probably sitting on the gold for it, as T1 now getting into position to fight for this second Drake of the game. D+ claiming the first one. And if they even out the Drakes with the late first Dragon pickup, I don't think we're going to be seeing a Soul, maybe never in this game, but also not for a while.
Okay, that's...
Yeah, Destiny Gate to come on through here, as FaZe does get himself out of the way.
Bencinya terang-terangan sampai kalau T1 main judulnya posko kekalahan T1 Kak si Kuro. Karbit dia mah. Real.
At level 2 ultimate, they decide it's way too much control that D+ are holding right there. They decide to leave, which is the correct call. Faker is 5 minutes behind on the Rod. You can see he's down a level on this top laner, has his role quest completed. And so as a result, he's just not really... He's clearing the waves and he's not under kill pressure, for example, but he can't really control that side of the map very well, as Shiu's just having a great game. Yeah, on this Aatrox.
Tapi ya sih kemarin gua masih Mystic win streak sih guys. Kagak kalah gitu kemarin ya, Mystic ya. Tumben anjir. Gue juga rotasi jungle-nya lagi bagus kemarin, Cok. Gue berhasil out from jungle musuh terus. Kecuali yang match Lisin.
It's all right.
It's not a good omen for T1 if it's not the Cloud Soul here.
I mean, Chemtech Soul on an Aatrox, that's what I'm scared of. Not to mention the fact that this Karma will be all buffed up by that one. I think it's a kind of cool Chemtech angle.
Yang menang World siapa, Kak? Tahun kemarin T1.
As it is still relatively late. 4.5 minutes until that.
Bener emang kalau top yang jauh enak gendong lane lainnya. Enak aja gitu. Jadi kalau gue punya top lane yang menang, gue tinggal geng yang lain. Terus gue bisa split farming, soalnya ada top lane yang menang gitu kan. Jadi kalau lu di geng, gue bisa ngambil buff. Kalau kita dihajar, lu bisa ada tower.
They're going to start playing through, okay, Faker thinks he get this free farm. I don't think so. That's not allowed anymore. They're going to try to punish Doran if he's trying to push up too far on the wrong side of the map. They're on the top side right now, and T1 are scrambling to try to defend.
Tapi itu kayaknya nggak berfungsi di Hailo. Ya, Hailo pasti ngerti lah mainnya. Lagian Hailo pasti udah tahu cara lawan Trundle, Jir. Kagak mungkin ada Hailo kalah sama Trundle-Trundlean. Bentar, kok di-get throwing? Hai, Showmaker! Kenapa kau ada di situ, Kak? Jangan kasih Faker. Dot bareng dong.
She was taking the bottom out of turret. We've got Smash in mid,
Malah yang
and
dikit
now
throw,
T1
anjing.
looking for this Baron in full vision of D+.
Yeah, D+ don't have anyone over here. I mean, Career is coming over. There's a trap wall set already. Smash is going to be able to walk his way through.
Okay, Doran miss ulti.
Is a little private this time around for Doran. As Ona taking so much damage from this Baron.
Jarvan is already here.
We need Orcs.
Smash, skillnya gak kena satupun.
I don't think it's the Huni. I think it's Terry. And Terry isn't that scary.
Okay, Faker versus Smash.
He's not scary, Terry. He's just Terry.
I haven't fully embraced the Baron jargon yet, so I don't even know what that means.
Neither have I. I just like the naming.
I think it's any Baron is scary enough right now to push T1 off of it in this case. So they do leave. And I think
kayaknya di high tier mah. Lu main itu kali ya, nar kali ya, Mystic. Kalau di Hailo kayaknya lu bakal main nar dah. Sama ini gak sih? Nar sama apa ya? Yang sering dipakai.
And then Doran also TP. So
Rumble.
she was like, oh,
Nar
right.
sama Rumble
I think
kayaknya.
T1 really expected D+ to full send on the defense for Showmaker, but they exactly did the opposite of that. Well, except Lucid, he full sent it. He probably wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
But everybody else just did the opposite of that and played the map instead, which was the right choice. Faker does get a shutdown.
It's a
which is
lot of
pretty
gold.
big. Yeah.
And he now has his Seraphs completed, looking towards that actualizer, and that is when the Rise gets extraordinarily scary.
Champion high elo tuh bisa narjaks gitu loh.
Versus Chovy yesterday. Zeka had such a good early lane, but it didn't matter. Chovy was Rise in the end and did about a quadrillion damage. Utilized Realm Warp incredibly effectively, and it led to pretty comfortable win for Gen G in the end. And Faker, I think he's got the brain to make these Realm Warps work.
I'm just going to use this Herald here to set up a dive, I think. And there's Pantheon ult available here, but he can't get access.
Yeah, you can see Doran gonna have to try and dash out of that Cataclysm, but Ona's just gonna make his way up.
Wow, ulti Doran malah kena Showmaker. Itu si Lucid mau kemana? What the fuck, Lucid? Oke, untung smash nge-kill. Nah, oke, Lucid yang dapet kill. Lah, Baron dong. Ntar kalau ada di goal kita coba-coba lagi lah pick-pick aja. Nggak, gue bisa kan sampai gold ke silver aja bengek anjir. Sebelum gua ngapa-ngapain juga udah reset sih Sonda. Jarang main sih, paling seminggu 2 kali gue main kan. Streamer lain kayak main tiap hari cuy.
We still don't really know what that
one
was.
I don't. That
Oh, nggak ada rasa tuh Ambesa padahal udah 2 item.
It's kind of like the whole 6-7 jargon. I'm just not quite.
Ganggu sih. Cuma nggak tahu dah. Musuhnya kayak tebel. Karena Roa kali itu si Showmaker ya. Si Showmaker Roanya udah full stack sih.
I have no idea. I should probably not talk about things that I barely know about. I haven't been in Australia for quite a while.
Oh iya, ada Karma. Cuma Karma nggak ada. Karma kagak nempel sama TF dari tadi. Emang tebel aja itu Roa kali.
Yeah, they are going to have a lot of bottom side
Roa
control
full
for this Dragon. It looks like T1 want to threaten another Baron play though instead. Showmaker has ult and TP though, so she was been spending a lot of this game just free farming, which I guess if your T1 makes you feel pretty good because he's not fighting you in a brawl where he's going to be at his strongest now that he's got Hysterics online. But he eventually, I mean, if you're not getting anything topside, eventually he's just going to get too much money. And T1 don't really have a strong play right now.
Coba lu lihat Chovy pas dia masih di DRX.
And now the Dragon is just kind of free pickings here for Lucid to
tetap
take
ganteng sih, tapi coba lihat.
And the cross map was ambitious at best for T1.
Yeah, you've got Smash coming on over, so this Drake is going to be taken very, very quickly. Showmaker may be in trouble though, as Public Execution are going to come.
Public Execution, Owner masuk. Mana Doran? Doran ultinya miss terus, Oke. Nice.
Drake is going to be the trade, and now Korea is taking Owner for a walk. Shiu is going to show up this time.
Dibantai Siu.
Closed here in this top lane.
Shit, Siu dapat shutdown.
And it's going to be Lucid with his 6th kill of the game in trade for an out of turret bottom lane.
Faker does get that turret. Hayes is getting some additional farm here in the mid lane. It's not a completely D+ sided play, in fact, so this ends up getting
gara-gara kemarin nontonan orang main klasik 5 jam jadi aneh lihat Roa agak ungu. Gua abis main League klasik jadi demen Lee Sin anjir, bagusan Lee Sin klasik cowok. Nya sakit banget anjing.
This is a risky call from D+.
This could be very dangerous.
League classic Lee Sin is something else, man.
Doran can. He can get back here very, very quickly. The teleport does come through from Showmaker as Career's in a bit of trouble. Has to flash away.
Masa sih kalah smite-nya. Oke.
Down goes the Baron and DK look to escape and trade only Career for it.
Masa sih?
D+ are playing such a good map game. Like, I don't even want to call it macro. They just know what's going on the map.
Itu Aatrox ditimpa gimana cara matinya? Banyak CC kok T1. Ada trap, ada Lux, ada Faker. CC semua itu 5-5-nya.
I think I would absolutely say that, yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, for me, the whole point. I hope
League Classic ulti Lee Sin nggak bisa bikin knock up.
Showmaker, by the way, he's 100% aware. He's like hovering.
Perasaan
his
bisa
W,
deh
he's like,
pas gua main
I'm
kemarin.
gonna gold card it and I'm gonna play this. And by the way, Aatrox is gonna TP. He buys so much time here. He's so tanky on this Twisted Fate that they're like, all right, we knew you were gonna force this play because we got Dragon and we were ready to respond here. And I think T1. I mean, that was really ambitious what they were trying to do. I mean, they had Doran flanking for so long. They're like, we're going to get something. And they did, but it cost them the Baron and a ton of map control. The gold lead doesn't change, but
that was a bit of a jump scare. Shiu
Siu, ulti Doran miss lagi. Tapi kena Faker. Dihalangin sama ulti Keria juga.
But man, I'm terrified. I need to be really careful getting out of these
No,
replays.
Baron
Yeah, they do have a Baron. They are going to push down this mid lane. But with that pick, it might help subdue, perhaps.
I mean, it helps them from, prevents them from having 3 pushing lanes here during this Baron, but I think they're going to get 2 turrets off of this.
Yeah, this bottom situation is a bit of a problem as Lucid going to get chased away.
I mean, you don't have many options as T1. Doran's getting a lot of money here. I mean, T1 have gotten a lot of gold, but they haven't gotten
ada Showmaker. Stunnya kena, tapi Doran teleport.
And you know what? He's going to be successful. Out he goes. Showmaker is going to lock a red
Sementara itu Lucid dikejar sama Owner dan Keria.
And so out goes the Ambessa.
All right, so that's a win on the escape, but what I was trying to say before they went for that big play is the gold has stayed really small here, the lead for D+. In fact, it's shrunk even down to sub 1,000. And T1 have been getting the money everywhere, but they haven't been getting the map control over these important objectives. So you can see the power play here is negative, actually, for D+ right now. But they continue to push these waves, right? There's a lot of gold to be picked up on that bottom turret if it does go down here, as Showmaker is very far forward.
Ulti Doran masuk, Showmaker masih ada flash. Lucid mencoba untuk cover. Kena stun.
As Final Spark is a support Lux, so it is not going to be Showmaker.
Si Luxnya build support, jadi gak ada damage-nya.
Had to use the flash in the play.
Itu dia pakai item movement speed sama Mikael.
The kills are even. The gold lead is basically just TF. And the Rebel Baron power play is nothing.
One day, you know, Aatrox will get the team fight. He's ready.
Yeah, surely.
30 minutes in, he's like, yep, I'm going to team fight. He's on the bottom side of the map where this Drake is spawning. Maybe this is the moment.
Sekarang Peanut di tim mana? Peanut udah pensi. Dia retired.
He might. I think he probably does.
GA is done. There are some items coming in. The problem is, there's an actualizer here for Faker. He's got an arm guard to break as well, and Pays is so close to those 4 items that I was warning everyone. There it is.
All right, so Owner doesn't have his ult. Doran's ult's going to come back very quickly here. 40 seconds to go. He can't make a play. They can't make a play to get Prio before the Dragon spawns, really, but if they can group here, get Faker in a position to maybe be able to reposition the team fight, it's hard for D+ to actually fight for this Dragon. Are D+ willing to give this up is the real question, as T1 just kind of fight their way through this bottom side of the river here to get that control away. And this is the first time T1 have really strong control over the objective itself, and now D+ have to kind of play it blind here. Showmaker could ult for Vision.
Well, there's that teleport in.
True shot barrage, kena Pace.
HP bar half.
Anjir, itu si Pace naruh trap. Tembok wall Maria, coy.
Let's see whether he does make his way forward. Destiny does come through.
Menyusun tembok, Wak.
Into the back line. Goes Shiu. Lucid gets the knock up onto Carrier and Pace.
Siwu ngejar Pace.
But he's not in the
Serem banget, Wak. Aduh, menang dong si Pace. Menang dong. Hampir. Doran dikejar. Ultinya miss lagi, Doran. Iya. Game 3, let's go. Chemtech Aatrox sih gokil ya.
And the gold lead is actually the biggest it's ever been here for D+, and it might get even bigger with this turret going down here in the bottom lane. Carrier desperately trying to final spark to buy time, but this turret is going down.
2.5k kills here for Showmaker. Congratulations for that one.
And this is a really big moment for T1 because Pays is fully online. You can see it in that last fight. The fact that they deny the soul. Oh, no.
Yes, shit. Oh. Tebel banget, Troa.
Less than I was expecting, to be honest.
Troa kayaknya di buff kah? Tebel, Cok.
Yeah, there's no Jarvan ult, there's no flash for Lucid, so Faker was actually in a pretty safe spot there, but decides to go just the same. This is a really intense game. Like,
it really is.
It's not over till it's over on this one because they get the secure here. Pays plays this so well. Like, he's out of the trough. Watch him play this. He drops one trap that she was able to avoid, but here on the corner during his Q animation, he's not able to avoid the next one. Pays gets a few more autos in there, and maybe.
Though, like, if anyone's able to CC Shiu at all, right? Like, he's dead, 100%.
If-
And like DK needs to be like, I guess,
Iya, ultinya
congratulated
Mesa
for being able to
kayak
make
cocoknya
that
buat
separation
ngedive
happen.
sih ya.
Exactly. That was the whole point of that
Soalnya
fight, is
kit
they
dia
had
banyak
no
shieldnya
eyes on the
kan
Aatrox.
juga.
He was able to wrap around and get that backside angle.
Emang
If he
bagusnya
doesn't,
buat ngedive
I think
open
T1
war.
smashed that fight. So D+, they're not necessarily in a winning position just yet, but they do have control over this Baron pit.
Yeah, Showmaker does press the R button. Let's see what actually happens from it, though, as now Showmaker going to turn up.
Owner.
Looks for Faker. Owner taking some
Immune,
damage.
tapi
Aegis now on
ternyata,
cooldown.
oh,
Sheer
lu
trying
nice
to
stun.
press some buttons, but they're trying to hold him off. Owner
Baron
sacrifices
lagi dong.
himself for the good of the colony. And Doran is looking
Baron
to try
lagi
and
dong,
push
Baron
away
lagi
this
dong.
Aatrox, but the Baron is live, and D+ have just killed the jungler.
And TP back from Showmaker. He's at full health. I think they could have just gone for it there, but they want to play it a little bit more safely.
Looking
Waiting for
pretty
that
cool
damage.
with his new hat as well. Showmaker now pretty powerful.
Now they can do it now that he's here, and it's not realistic for a contest here for T1. Control vision on this Baron as well, and Doran's going to go give his teammates the bad news. And with no Pantheon here, it is a free one. As Doran is still coming over here, but I just don't see any world. It is a desperation ult from Keria.
Yeah,
it's on a low cooldown, so you go for those.
Owner apa
but they won't
painter
get
ini,
it.
Cok? Ini
You miss
owner, ini
every
owner.
shot you don't take. So you may as well go for the final spark. We'll see whether this Rebel Baron power play is going to be better. Right now sitting at about 1100.
Oh,
as
real
Sheer is
warp.
going to look
Yang
to try and
pindah
get
cuma 2 orang.
himself
Faker
out of the
tetap
way,
di
but
situ untuk
Faker
flanking.
was
Siwoo
actually
berusaha untuk
in.
lari.
That one
Ultimate
probably
dipakai
gets
sama
Fusion
Doran.
come down and
Siwoo nggak bisa
Sheer
kemana-mana.
is just gonna die
Faker
right at the
Faker
beginning
GG
of the
sih.
Baron.
Yeah,
Guys,
that's a huge
semenjak
pick.
Faker
A lot
pakai
had to be
combo
used
itu,
for it,
sekarang
but I
kayak
think
orang
it's
pada
worth it.
niru deh.
Oh, 100%.
Yang
They used two
ulti
ultimates
di cancel
to
pakai
secure this one.
recall.
So when you look at this fight here for T1, they don't have any ability to get Paze in the position.
Katanya
to consistent
kalau lu
damage.
ulti pakai
Somehow
res
when
sambil
it's so
recall
early,
kagak pindah
the owner's
katanya.
so far up there that D+ is just like, nah, Paze can't get in, and we're just gonna wait. And then eventually everyone from T1 backs away, but the Pantheon is just not lucky enough to do so. So owner dies, that leads to a Baron, but the next play, which
Bug
catches
gitu.
you, really puts a
Tapi
dampener on how much
dimanfaatkan
damage
gitu.
D+ want to get with this Baron, which is opening up this
Kalau
inhibitor
dimanfaatkan
turrets and
berarti
opening up the
fitur,
base.
Cok.
GA done for owner now. This game is still so incredibly close.
And there is more of Malmortius now on Lucid as well. I mean, this Jarvan actually does a lot of damage. It will be hard to kill him. His GA is still on cooldown for the next little while, though, so does need to be a little careful.
Imagine-
Do have that advantage.
Imagine if D+ had a Chemtech Soul and this
Ini
was
close
Elder
banget
about
sih
to
match yang
follow
ini
the
sih.
Baron. That secure of
Tapi
the
agak
Dragon
jungle
for
tip
T1 is doing
sih,
them so
sumpah, cuma
much work in this game.
Yang
Oh, yeah.
bikin jungle tip tuh emang Jarvan
Showmaker
sebroken
now
itu
splitting
tai
towards that bottom
damage-nya.
side. This is a composition
Gue
that
benci
runs
banget kalau
1-3-1
lawan
pretty
Jarvan,
effectively.
apalagi yang
But once
snowball
again, I
anjing.
mean, it's a negative Rebel Baron power
Damage-nya
play.
sakit
T1
banget.
playing into this Baron over and over again. It's just
Kagak
putting
balance itu
like
champion,
Isaac,
anjing.
Zale, Cummings, Bentley's voice in my mind. Baron just isn't that good. And it's kind of proving to be true here, as even with 2 of them, D+ haven't been able to extend that lead all that far.
With a Rise and a Caitlyn, you have so much wave clear, especially against that mid wave, which is what D+ have been mostly playing for, especially after losing their top laner, that it is not that powerful of a Baron here. Dragon's up in 25 seconds here. Paze will have his flash soon, but doesn't have it yet. I think he'll have it just as this is spawning, which is huge for him, because this time they don't actually have that flanking Aatrox necessarily.
He is looking for it, though, and now Doran trying to escape. Showmaker with that gold card locked, and T1 moving so far
That's
away.
them.
My God, that True Shot Barrage
Buset.
did so much damage. Doran is out of here, can teleport back.
D+ just have to rush this down. They have to just rush this
Gak
Dragon down
bisa
as fast as
Chemtech
possible.
Drake
There's a
ini
Chemtech
buat
Dragon. It's not that
Aatrox
tank yet. They
BTW.
should be able to get Shields to hold this
Seriusan
fight.
karma
Showmaker looks for
karma
Phoenix.
Aatrox
It's like the
dapat
big bad
Chemtech
wolf man is
dikasih.
just lurking in the jungle, in the forest, waiting to grab them. That is going to be
Siwoo
the Chemtech
versus
soul.
everybody.
Only further
dapat soul
buffing
udah.
this massive Aatrox in
Dah,
this game.
dah, game 3, game 3.
That was such a great way to set up for
Doran.
that Dragon control. As
Oh,
all.
no!
Malah
Doran's
pamer
just
recall.
dead. He's
Iya
trying to
Doran,
walk
iya
through
gua
that
tahu lu
T1
punya skin
door.
Doran, gua
And
tahu.
unfortunately just wasn't able
Tapi
to this time
tolonglah.
around.
They could have TP'd it
Iya
back
Bang
into the
Doran,
fight and
iya
stayed,
itu
and
skin
Showmaker
lu,
zoned
gua
them
tahu.
away. And there was just no way to get to the Dragon.
Kapan
For
endnya
T1.
kayak susah,
D+
Cok.
didn't look for a
Lawan
fight, they just
T1.
looked for control. As Lucid's just going to do some trap clearing here and potentially set a bait, but I don't think there's really any follow-up.
Iya
to
Bang
this.
Doran itu skin lu
Just
ya.
kind of, wandering away from a few of the abilities that were coming in. Playing some defense, the Showmaker here towards his top side with his Magi's now completed. Only 5
Massively.
stacks. Oh yeah. And
Itu buat
Twisted
meme
Fate,
tuh
there
tadi.
is one thing that he
Doran
does really
aura
well. That
loss.
is destroy turrets extremely quickly, especially with this build. You
Yeah.
go Deathcap, you got a Lich Bane, man,
You have all that
turrets do
AP.
not last.
But you were designed as an AD champion. It feels like in so many ways. With
Yeah,
how many
just
changes
auto.
almost-
Why do cards hurt structures that much?
Yeah.
I don't know. But that is just kind of canonically true here in League of Legends.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's seen some YouTube guy like throw a card into a watermelon. It's kind of like that.
I've seen a lot of those. They're great.
They're pretty crazy. D+ they've been doing such a good job of controlling objectives and not losing the game.
They're 5 items, Wolf. 5 items for pace. I'm scared.
They're not doing the risky team fight thing.
Skin ini suka dipakai terus ya, skin Atrox yang itu. Bang Lutfi Halimawan juga kalau main Atrox pakai skin yang itu kemarin guys. Skin Atrox yang ini.
The lethal blow to T1 just yet. And T1 have such an incredibly strong team fighting composition. If they can just keep owner
Betul itu belum mati sih Smash ya, belum mati, belum nge-kill.
I believe the longer fight is almost always won by T1 if they can get map control for an objective as well.
Cair kah? Cair kah?
That would be the only time it would
Nah,
be worse.
kecing nih. DK akan dikasih duit ini.
Hopefully,
DK,
someone's mouse just ran out of
ini
battery or something like
50 juta won.
So it is.
Hari ini pokoknya 2-0 home ground ya.
So maybe it is exactly that. Maybe we just didn't charge our mice before we came to work today.
Kecing, kecing.
As it's Korea, something happened. Cannot confirm
Transaksi
just
dulu.
yet. But
yeah, it's just a peripheral
Izin
issue.
transfer.
I'm just trying to work out whether it is the mouse running out of battery or not, because like that would be pretty cool if it was just a guess.
It does look like it's
Oh, si Doran.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I cannot confirm that his mouse isn't plugged in.
Oh, bukan. Is that
but
DK?
most players.
Oh, si apa tuh, Siu?
Actually, in modern times, it's more common than you think to play with a wireless
Oh,
mouse.
Karir. Si Karir mouse-nya rusak.
I actually thought that like all of the purists were like, no, the polling rate is just nowhere near high enough.
Career.
But I think that it's kind of been a thing of the past. Not having a weird cable attached to your the mouse is kind of better.
Looks, as you guys can see him, and it looks like the issue seems revolved. It looks, yeah, it's wireless. It's wireless. It might have actually been a battery issue. No joke.
I really hope it was, because that would have been very, very funny. But I believe we are about to pop back into the game in a couple of moments, and in fact, you can see there are some buttons being pressed, and here we are. So a brief interlude.
I think D+ have one more job to do, which is to secure either this Baron.
I thought you were going to say kill the Nexus.
Well, that's like what they do. What they get to do.
Cheerleadernya boleh juga.
That's the reward.
Yang cowok apa yang cewek?
Either get this Baron or get this Elder, right? And I think the Baron's spawning first.
Ini Karir mutus momentum dia keingat dia mukul meja pas main fight.
Taking a lot of damage. He does have a GA, so he's not going to.
Tapi Karir sama Keria nih championnya sama mirip-mirip dah. Sadar gak pick-picknya si Karir tuh sama Keria mirip. Panutannya emang ya Keria ya. Panutannya si Karir.
That's what happened last time around, although it was again not necessarily his fault. It was set up there for D+. And D+ are just playing this oppressive style where they have Destiny Gate to play through. They have this Jarvan with Flash and ult. He's incredibly powerful. Has GA himself now.
Iya, dia fans berat Keria.
He just seems to be a lot more potent in these fights. He's 4,000 gold up on his opposition. Speaking of.
There it is. Dash Cannon does get Showmaker closer to that gold card. Doran taking a lot of damage. True Shot Barrage is going to snipe him, but he is able to get himself out of the way. But Flash now down on the Ambassador, and the ulti's already used.
I mean, that might just be like Baron Prio. That might just be enough. You know, Shiu has TPs pushing bottom wave right now, but could just TP in and they could just take this. If they get this Baron Siege, I don't know if T1 will be able to recover because that leads to Elder. And D+ don't have to win a team fight to win this game. They just need to get these objectives. And they decide to pull off of it right now as Owner's walking forward on the vision. They might punish him. Showmaker's got that gold card.
Yeah, he's lining it up. And it is the final spark just to spot what's happening in that Baron pit. They do get the good news. The Baron hasn't been taken.
The discipline of D+ in this game is out of control. They're just not going to flip anything.
I like how you say that it's out of control when discipline is about being in
Smash dari tadi, dia punya bounty, dia banyak assist, dia belum mati, tapi belum ngekill. Emang susah banget kayak ngekill main Ezreal ya. Damage-nya sakit, sama susah diinjak, cuma kagak ngekill cok Ezreal tuh.
On that flank angle, and 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then things start to get
40 menit, no kill, I mean here.
As well as a Baron.
The ult for Doran is back up, of course. He doesn't have his flash anymore, but he has TP. He actually got a little bit of bottom side control there, which hasn't had for a little while since she
Tugasnya ngusir-ngusir doang.
Yep, she is level 20. Doran almost about to hit that mark.
Oh, sepertinya Faker sudah muak di poking sama si Smash. Faker nyari Smash. Apakah dia akan dapatkannya Rune Prison? Kagak connect. Faker menjadi kuning. Menjadi kuning. Combo apa itu, Wok? Combo apa itu, Wok?
And an overextension, and now Doran is going to suffer the same fate. No public execution for anything other than yourself,
Faker
my friend.
menjadi
And D+ have
kuning.
taken out the solo lanes.
Itu kenapa
Ona's gone
gitu?
the other direction to
Honor,
try and pull
what
these
the fuck?
minions
What?
and deny the end of the game. But it should just be the jungler dead with Elder coming up. The Baron as well. It should be Exodia for D+.
Huh?
should just be able to get that, but if they get more here, they might be able to end the game.
Yeah, Carrier looking to try and hold Chiyu into position. This is what we were talking about before. That's a decent umbral dash.
Ini kenapa yang ini?
CC, Hayes might be able to get it done.
Kenapa?
And Ace Mo does come in, but Chiyu is still
Camtech
just
Drake,
Yeah,
everybody.
he's totally fine here. Did his job
Okay.
exactly correctly there. Doesn't flash onto FaZe because he knows FaZe would just flash away and kill him. They get the Baron. Baron should lead to Elder. As we'll see if there's any way T1 can muster defense here. But
Ini
this is
Faker
just
udah
T1
muak deh.
being so
Apa sih ini
patient.
Ezreal
And
anjing
a
ngepok-ngepok
rare
mulu,
moment
maju.
of
Tuh.
overextension here for T1.
Rune
A rare
Prison.
moment of a lack of
Anjir,
patience here in this
kuning.
game. Faker just sends it. I mean, this is
Entahlah.
unlike T1, but
I don't know
watching
about
D+
that, sir.
just spend this entire game avoiding fights and waiting for T1 to come into an objective or make a mistake is crazy to me. Like D+ have grown so much. They used to be a team that were so indecisive, a team that would snap engage at the wrong moments, but now they're just the macro gods.
Okay,
sitting
they
back and
lost
saying,
Elder, they
"Your
lost
move,
Baron."
T1."
But this is the
Terima
thing,
kasih,
right? Like, this
Faker.
is what D+ used
Thank
to be
you so
good
much.
at back in the day. This is why they were like the kings of
Wow.
2020. And most
Gila,
of
sekarang efeknya keren ya.
2021 until
Elder
EG
sama
kind of picked them
Baron,
at the
guys.
post
Lihat,
at the
guys.
very
Disco,
end.
disco.
It's the 1-3-1. It's playing
Lihat,
the
lihat.
map,
Sekarang mah kalau
playing
dapat
side
Elder
lane.
sama
It's
Baron,
crazy to get
efeknya
victory.
gila.
80% of
Bagus
this roster is
betul.
different. They
Pelangi.
go back to it. Showmaker eventually taught those
DJ.
kids how to do it. And look, they did the job I said that was the last job left
Pelangi-pelangi
to
gitu
do. And
loh.
now, Atlas, I think what's really left, like you said, is killing the Nexus. That's the last possible thing they have to do in this game. They have done their job. They have the win con. All they got to do is push to end now.
We'll see whether they can actually do it, because this would be devastating if they were to lose here. 10,000 gold going to be their advantage this time around, returning the favor that T1 gave to them in game
Susah
number
endnya
1.
1 jam ini match,
Now
sumpah.
Thrash is trying to find this
Masih gak
next
bisa end.
turret, and yeah, the counter siege is pretty good for T1. This is
1
the
jam,
third Baron
1 jam gak
of
bisa
the
end.
game
Punya
for D+,
Elder, punya
and
Baron,
their first
masih
positive
kagak
rebel
bisa
round
end.
outplay.
For now.
They
We'll
have
see.
Elder as well. Like, they have Elder, Soul, and the Baron. And if
Oke,
they were to
Faker
ever lose any of
ngapain
these
tuh?
fights, it would be absolutely ridiculous.
D+ are spilling in now with 1 minute and 20 on this Elder. I think they should be able to end if any of this poke lands, and it's starting to hit.
Oh my goodness,
smash,
that's
smash
so
mengamuk,
much
smash
damage.
mengamuk.
Lucid getting
Lucid
the knock
masuk,
up onto
Faker,
Just
tidak
one
ada
more shot,
kuning,
the shot is
menjadi
denied.
kuning.
By taking the wild card,
Doran
coming
multi
in,
masuk,
solid
tapi
execution.
Faker
Under
terkena
Showmaker
Elder
from the
Drake.
backline. They do
Buff.
take out Faker though, the final spark. Not
Owner
quite
masuk,
working. Owner
anjing,
is
di one
gonna
shot.
execute Showmaker, but now he's in
Lucid
such
versus
an
pribadi,
awkward
masih ada
spot.
GA. Owner
Lucid
versus
as well,
pribadi,
down to the
tapi
GA though,
smash
Owner
masih
trying to
tidak ada
fight
yang
with Chiyu.
bisa
I think we know who
nge-touch.
wins that battle, but it's Paze picking up a couple of kills.
The minions
Smash.
are here.
Smash needs to do this for D+ if they want to win off the back of this Elder. Otherwise, T1 might find themselves in a decent spot.
Bang,
2
buru,
inhibitors
buru,
are now
buru,
down.
buru, smash.
Put a shot barrage.
Woo!
Carrier going to get executed by
double
a
kill.
dragon.
Whoa!
Paze taken out by Chiyu. And I think they've done it. D+ are
Game
going to give us
3.
3
Game
games here in
3.
the T1 home ground.
Very close here until the very end.
Tapi
But
kuat sih
D+
T1 sumpah.
in the game, the way
Kagak
they
end-end
played
dari
the
tadi.
entire
What the
mid to late
fuck?
game, they were hiding. They were setting up objectives, and on the final objective, the Nexus, they were hiding behind
Guys
the
ya harus 3 game guys tadi sesuai skrip ya. Apa tiket home ground mahal cuy. Harus 3 game ya. Mahal tiketnya mahal.
T1 looked like mistakes, but eventually they just were like, eventually they're gonna kill our base.
Minimal, maksimal.
And that call from Faker to go in to try to set up the play on the rise just didn't hit. Doran TP's in, following up there to try to get into the back line and hold the wave. Gets burst down. Owner goes in a 3rd time, and D+ knew that this composition with Paze was just going to be too difficult to deal with in straight-up fights.
I
in the
mean,
late
even
game.
when they had all of those
Siapa
buffs,
yang
Paze
di
was still
home ground
half
kena
helping
2-0?
everyone he was shooting, man. It was still
Tim yang
so
sangat gua
scary
benci.
for
They
D+.
solved the Paze problem. Just don't team fight into him. Put an Aatrox on top of him, or otherwise just run away
Yeah.
and not fight. And they played such a great game. It's 44 minutes here, but This is one of the best games of D+ since the 2021 era, right? That we've seen from them on the map. Brilliant stuff.
Absolutely amazing as well. Vintage Showmaker on his Twisted Fate. So good to see it.
Fake Rise kayak amatiran pas lihat Chovy Rise kemarin. Sumpah, Chovy pas lawan Hanwha Live ya, itu like kok bisa orang ini belum menang World gitu guys. Aneh gak sih? Aneh gak sih? Orang kayak gitu kagak bisa masuk final, tapi Deokdam masuk final. What the fuck? Kok bisa orang sejago itu tapi belum pernah masuk final World, sedangkan si Deokdam, like how? Oot dong, LoL Mobile tuh sekarang berapa GB SS-nya mau main lah, tapi HP kentang. Kayak minimal 30 GB harus ada, Bang. 30 GB kan? 15. Ini gua kagak ngerti sih Packer rencananya apa. Tapi emang harus galak sih biar dapat smash ya. Soalnya dari tadi dibully sama smash kan. Cuma
절반 남았어. 천천히.
gak tahu anjir, Owner kenapa telat ya masuknya?
라이즈 한 번.
해드릴게.
라이즈 한 번. 라이즈 한 번. 야,
What's wrong with Owner though?
금자 빛깔 없다. 야 캔다. 라이즈 노플. 얘들아 라이즈 노플. 럭스 노플.
천천히 해, 천천히. 잡았어.
럭스 노플.
잡았어.
안 뺏어, 안 뺏어, 안 뺏어.
안 뺏어.
야 맞죠? 야 투페.
금지야, 금지야, 캐텍.
판테 볼게 나 판테. 아 빨리 좀.
빨렸다.
판테 보자.
아, 나오 죽은데?
야 라인. 럭스 노플. 잘해야 돼. 라인 해봐. 빨리 좀 봐봐.
Oh iya, gue mau bikin meme Doran tadi.
얘들아, 캐치 노플 안 뺏어.
Sambil nunggu break. Tadi gue nemu meme Doran lucu banget sih. Doran Auralos. Mana ya?
Is that an Australian one? I've only seen it in Australia.
I don't know, actually.
It might also be New Zealand. Tell us which
Side right now, and T1
2 menit ke berapa tadi ya?
I mean, Chemtech Soul on an Aatrox. That's what isn't that scary. And
for Lucid to take. Let's see if they can actually get over here. Faker does have Realm Warp.
Flag and drag to deny.
Bukan yang ini.
Something.
Kita cek aja setiap Doran mati.
Looking for a bit of
Oh ini kali.
I guess
Death ketiga.
right? I guess
Mana anjing? Oh itu bukan death ketiga yang dia miss ulti.
I guess
Death keempat?
the colony.
It's not really free one. Was still so
Putting
Oh ini death keempat.
it's just
such a great way to set up for that dragon control as all.
only further buffing this massive Aatrox in this game.
Anjir, lihat nih skin gua.
Oh no, Doran's just dead. He was trying to walk.
Way to set up for that dragon control is
Oh
all.
no, Doran's just dead. He was trying to walk through that T1 door. No, Doran's just dead. He was trying to walk through that T1 door, and unfortunately just wasn't able to this time around.
Lucu banget anjing. Kita upload Twitter. Aura loss anjir. Pam izin pamer skill. Aduh, kesandung. Mana lo coba ada ultinya Ezreal. Lucu banget ini. Oh, kita ngintip CFO gimana kabarnya? My team. Gimana kabarnya my team?
Level 11 support. And speaking of levels, it's nearly 2.
おー、CFO カーゲームだと。
バロンバフを使ってエルダードラゴンまでの時間は短いですが、当然プッシュインヒビタータワーにタッチ、みるみる削れていくぞ。ですが止めるため体を前に出すが、ものともせずに削ってくる。さあこのタイミングで旋風演武エンゲージヘクステカアルティメイト無料、うまく群れの読み声でかわしてはいるが、フラッシュインからまたステッカーの間がスローにしかなっていない。ショックウェーブはゾーンでの受け切り、ハーキーにはガーディアンエンジェルがある。しかも狙われるこのバスオーダー、ここで切り返しだ。一気にクラトスとそしてシューロンのエンゲージ、ネクサスタワー下から戻ってきてすでに2キルを獲得。テレポートシールドも生かしながらシャドウのバーストには割り切こでかわしつつ、ガーディアンエンジェル落ちませんでした。ハーキーベースの前一人ずつ落としていく。そしてネクサスタワーはもうないぞ。このゲーム1しっかりとした歩みで勝ち切りました MBK スポーツ。
いやー、やはり序盤のところである程度スケールをしなければいけない、紙入れを据えて序盤からの少数戦を制していこうとしていた CFO でしたけど、うまく MVK にカウンターされましたね。
Rip call depan musuh dikira udah balik, rupanya hide on bush. Combo pace Keria dengan Caitlyn Lux udah kalah 3 kali. Pertama kali G2 dan gugur dari MSI. Kedua pas lawan Hanwha Live, Jix Guma, dan sekarang ini. Udah tahu, tapi Keria, gue heran kenapa Keria demen banget support, build support ya, Lux ya. Emang jelek tah full AP Lux. Soalnya dari tadi fungsinya entah apa Lux ya, ini ultinya kagak sakit tuh.
MVK 完全にそこを上回って、もう自分たちが後手ながらもしっかりとカウンターしきっていた。いやー、
Showmaker main PES no. Apa ini? Apa yang dilakukan warga 01? Pekecut, aku doakan umur anakmu kelak tidak akan melebihi umur anjingku yang kamu bunuh. Viral untuk peracun John Wick mati pemilik anjing di bangunan, doakan umur anak si peracun tidak panjang. Kenapa sih? Lagian orang-orang kenapa sih suka racunin anjing? Like, tapi kadang anjing ganggu sih. Harusnya kalau punya piaraan taruh rumah aja ya, jangan sampai keluar ya. Iya, kayaknya sih mengganggu tetangga sih anjingnya, sering beol sana sini kali ya, masuk akal. Ya tau lah. Wow, ini Lilith. Ini katanya wanita pertama di FGO guys. The first woman in FGO from Sumerian, Lilith. Lihat lucu, anaknya ada 3. Karena katanya wanita sebelum Hawa. Zoom lagi, Kak. Zoom lagi. This is the first woman before Eve. Sebelum Hawa. Di FGO, di FGO. Anak-anaknya lucu. Tiga. Gue pernah punya anjing diracun sama orang padahal dirantai dan jarang gonggong. Kadang ada yang ganggu anjingnya, kadang emang yang orang muslim itu suka agak sedikit ekstrim banget itu. Katanya kan anjing haram. Jadi diracunin gitu, Cok. Bapaknya siapa, Kak? Ya, Adam. Siapa lagi? Adam gak sih? Adam. Ini King Protea Altar. Bagus nih yang baju kedua. Gokil. Ngezumba tuh kakinya. Ini lupa namanya si apa ya? Kalau gak salah novelis Cina kah? Bareng suaminya apa bapaknya itu ya? Bapaknya kalau gak salah. Ini bapaknya. Dia dan bapaknya ganteng jir. Kata mama, kenapa bajunya kurang bahan, Kak? Kan lagi berenang. Orang luar kalau berenang emang gitu bajunya. Kalau kita mah sopan santun. Dan bapaknya ganteng, Cok. Gue lagi nabung buat gacha si Lilith ini loh. Kapan rilisnya ya? Minggu depan kali. Gue pengen gacha ini, Jess. Coba. $150.000 di tangan anak kos. The fuck is this? Nyuci lantai. Kenapa ada game fanboy? Yo. It's not a fanboy game. Yang bisa mabar itu kurang tahu ya. Udah rilis. Cir, udah rilis. Gacha, kita gacha. Udah mulai belum? Berapa menit lagi? Udah mulai, pengen gacha gua.
But that's all right.
Jir, udah rilis, Cok.
They have first pick once again. I feel like as you get deeper into Fearless, though, first pick gets a little bit more murky as far as its value. And so I think this is going to be such a close game 3.
Absolutely. And game 1 felt like such a T1 draft, and Owner and Carrier ran the entire game, right? With the Camille setup there with the Vi. And then in game 2, Lucid just gets the better of Owner, crushes him in game 2, and it's a very D+ flavored draft with the Twisted Fate. Feels 2021-esque, as we were saying, but
Twisted to
game
Fatal.
3, who knows what kind of draft we're going to see with so many of these big champions removed. This will be the deciding game, and maybe D+ can break the 4-win streak at their home grounds.
We'll see whether they can do it. And the draft is going to come first, and I think this is going to show us a lot about how this meta has formed in the eyes of these two squads, because I think these are
Dukung siapa untuk match kali ini? Tetap DK.
Yesterday, Genji and Homo Life Esports had a different idea about what good looks like, and this time around, D+ with their own unique flavor with that 1-3-1 composition, played it out very controlled in game number 2. T1 with a lot more skirmishes, scrappiness, the circus was in town, and that was working out for them in that first game. But now, Poppy going to be banned. The Nocturne as well will be taken away.
I think
and
Bard
Lulu,
again.
yeah, going to be answered.
Lulu and Bard probably traded here, and then it gets a little bit murky. Maybe just another Cassiopeia ban from T1. Take that away from Showmaker.
Yep. Unless they want to leave it for a first pick, because I think it's pretty first pickable now. Maybe, unless the Anivia is something he's scared of.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is going to be T1 having first pick this time around, like you say.
Easy Hun.
Could be the angle here. Trying to think of what else you don't want to deal with. The Caitlyn even was taken already, so that's not a factor here.
I think the Yunara compositions and things like that were the ones at the forefront of people's minds, but the Lucian still needs to be banned, so that Cassiopeia is still likely to be picked up.
I wonder if Smash and Career do have a lane prepared for it. Okay, the answer
Nope.
is no.
And also, don't take the risk. I think that like Pays and Carrier are just too good at Lucian Melio. Don't give them the option. But it's a snake for Faker. I think he's almost definitely going to be playing the Cassio here.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer.
Cassiopeia pick.
Works with so many different picks. I mean, that's Cassiopeia is the new Azir, right? Where it's strong in lane, scales really well, has some engage, just does too many things too well.
So much consistent damage as well, so you can play all sorts of things on the bottom side of the map and still feel like you can do that DPS late game. The Jace, though, will be the first pick
Oh,
for
darn Jace.
and that outranges the Cassio. Actually,
Win
kind
rate
of
di
think this
bawah
is a really
50%.
interesting choice for T1, looking at what was still available.
Yeah.
Si
Puts a
Umen
lot
itu
of
kah?
faith in Doran in
Like
this draft.
Ornn.
And I'm not saying that that's misplaced. It's just
Gak ada
not
sekarang
what I
yang main Ornn,
expected.
anjir.
I mentioned it in game 1 that they could have
Apa
also done this, but
lawannya?
they didn't opt for it then.
Nar.
This time around with a
Nar
lot more
juga
bans
kalah.
away, they do. But you know, picks like the Yorick is still there.
Oh,
the Casante's still
Casante,
available.
let's
There's a lot of
go.
ways to respond to this. They could just go Cassiopeia,
Cassiopeia
Casante.
diambil sama
You have a front line
Showmaker.
for that scaling Cassiopeia. It's a good matchup into the Jace. And we'll see what Faker's answer is going to be. I think they have a plan. They
Apa
expect the
Jax lawan
Cassiopeia.
Jace?
Yeah.
And
Jax
so
gak
let's
bisa
see,
ya?
is it just Faker's Anivia? That would be a little
Casante,
disappointing to
kayaknya
me,
cuma
to be honest,
Casante
but I think
lawannya.
maybe he's cooking something else.
Well, the Casante will be the lock-in here. We've seen that work actually decently well into the Jace. But I think it is highly, I guess, hinges on what you're going to be playing in the jungle alongside it. And I think Rammus is the perfect answer to whatever you want to play.
Honor, main
Rammus.
Sivana kah?
But no. Owner's going to hover some weird stuff first. And then we're going to see what's going to be locked in here.
Oh,
as
Pace main APC Ziggs.
Ziggs
With
angle.
no Camille and no Vi, I'm not a big
It's
fan
got
of.
Shen, though. So Ziggs Shen could be the answer.
Ziggs Shen.
Leona, I suppose, could be a thing.
Nautilus, maybe?
I would not prefer the
Leona
Nautilus, but
juga
we'll see. I
bisa
mean,
gak sih?
you're going to lose those supports, or at least 2/3 of them if
Di
you don't
sini
lock
siapa
them in
yang
right
jahat,
now,
Kak?
possibly even all 3.
Presiden ke-8 Republik Indonesia.
And ban both away.
Well, there's just so
I
much
feel like you have to
outrange.
go Shen if you want Shen right now. You have to lock it in. Instead, it's just going to be Trundle
Owner
into the
Trundle sih
Cassante.
bagus sih lawan Casante
Man,
sih.
this is really interesting, though. I actually kind of love it. from
Trundle
T1
bagus
because
sih lawan
they've
Casante
seen
sih.
these strong picks, arguably, out of D plus Kia, right? In the Cassante matchup into the Jace, that's actually worked out quite well for the Cassante. Cassiopeia has been one of the
Gali
most banned mid
klasik kah,
laners all
Uncle?
patch long, but
Gali
Trundle is a keepaway
klasik,
champion,
cuma
and they
bisa lisin
outrange
gua.
with everything else that they have.
Loh,
I think it's a
komen
really, really
Nafiri
cute
bang.
idea, especially with all that subjugate value
Jangan,
you
Bang,
get
udah di-nerf,
into
Bang.
this Cassante.
I agree.
Jangan
It's not
Nafiri
something I saw
bang.
coming, but
Oh
it makes
shit.
1,000% sense here for Owner to be given this
Oh
pick.
no.
Not great into the Nafiri in isolation, but everything else will come together. I think the Nafiri is a great counter pick here. Now, this engage is going to be taken away. T1 chose first pick, so they won't be able to pick first after the banning phase. So if T1 now find themselves losing the Leona and the Shen, they want the Nautilus might just go. So that's
Jadi
pretty
kayak
scary
Navi,
considering
jir.
how fragile this bottom lane can be.
I think they also need to like ban the Nautilus,
Sering
right?
lisin
Like,
kah?
D plus need
Lebih
a
ke
lot
cuma
of
bisa
engage
lisin sih
if
kalau
they
di
wanna get
klasik
on top
gue.
of this Jason Ziggs.
Main
They ban the
Mastery
Olivia
aneh banget.
instead.
Animasinya
So-
jelek.
Let's see what they decide to go for here, T1, because I think you can try to put the focus on that bottom duo. Nautilus goes first, you mentioned it. And consistent damage is not a thing that this T1 draft has right now. And if they end up getting a carry for Smash here that has that, that is a big problem. Alistair taken away.
All right, so no Alice to come through either. What is the engage support that D Plus is going to look for? Leona
Bentar,
is there.
ini Shen-nya bakal diambil sama karir
there
kah?
are some options.
Should T1 ban Varus? You know, if you end up with a Varus
Bisa
lane
sih,
against
Shen
you, your
Nafiri
Ziggs
sih.
just gets dove because the prio is so hard that the Fury
Gak
comes
di-ban
down.
kan?
Could be a
Ini Shen-nya diambil
problem,
karir gak sih?
for Pays. We'll have teleport
Shen?
this game, but only get one of those. The Trundle
Atau
can
Rakan
help
maybe?
deter dive,
Rakan
isn't
Zaya?
necessarily great at it. Instead, we're looking
Rakan
at
Zaya free sih. Ya,
pulling
Rakan Zaya ini.
a bit of a Peter here.
Saya Rakan
and dropping
free.
the Rakan.
I don't know whether I like this that much though, because they can still go for a Talia in theory.
Iya, tapi masih ada Talia. Kalau Faker main Talia ini Zaya Rakan kagak main nih.
Even more keep away, right? Like you have the
Zaya, Nafiri, Kesante, wah Faker main Talia ini.
I agree with you. I think this is a pretty
Ya,
risky
iya,
choice.
iya main Talia ini mah.
And there isn't really a pick in this draft that makes me feel
Ada
like
Kesante,
he's gonna
ada
fix it.
itu.
Even if he goes
Diambil
Zaya
sama
here,
Keria
he's
tapi
so
Shen.
low range into all of this poke. So is the Cassiopeia. Shen left available because they banned the Alistar, they banned the Anivia. Just surprised that Keria gets his hands on this.
Yeah.
After
Shen
everything
Ziggs,
that's happened.
Faker mah kayaknya udah pasti Talia
It does
nih.
feel like something that probably shouldn't have been up and available.
What if Faker just plays this here? I'm serious. Like,
I mean, he had
Tapi
to do it
keren gak sih kalau Faker main Azir?
It's a good pick here. And also
Faker kalau main
helps
Azir
further keep
gokil
away.
gak sih?
He might just pick the Talia that you're expecting, but I think the Azir kind of works here. Helps the Trundle for setup. Strong mid jungle.
Give me the Xerath. That's what I want. Instead, it's the Victor.
Victor,
Victor feels a little bit more standard.
It's consistent damage though. That was the one thing I think this
Victor.
draft was missing.
Wait, what the
Holly where?
I'd rather not
Bentar,
see
Smash main
the Inequality in
Cassiopeia.
this game.
Wait, is it Cassio into Ziggs? This was a counter pick.
Oh,
my God.
Showmaker Akali,
on the
Cassiopeia
Akali,
bot lane.
And we've got Smash on the
Ya,
Cassio.
Cash bot lane,
Okay,
Cash
well,
bot lane.
this is a matchup specific
Cash bot
pick.
lane, Akali mid.
Mages in
Kena
the bottom lane
counter si
do
Faker.
well against
Shit.
other mages in the bottom lane, and so that's where we're
Gokil
headed.
draft picknya, cuma
Who gets to draft or rather build
draft picknya gokil
in this
juga.
game? Because I think the Cassante is the biggest winner of that. Now, if he does index into it too heavily, it's going to have some problems in the laning phase. But if he can get out of the lane and build a lot of magic resistance here into Victor and the Ziggs, he's going to be doing more
Gokil draft
MR than
picknya
anyone
Bang
else really
Cuma, ya.
can do on the side of T1 here into this burst draft now that has an Akali and an Fury. I don't think they had to do this. I think they could have just drafted a winning lane. D Plus could have.
Tapi tadi yang draft pick bukan cuma si Pumandu ya, Pumandu.
We've just changed the entire
Pumandu
draft.
tadi yang draft pick, guys, bukan cuma guys. Sepertinya Pumandu memasak sesuatu. Si Duh tadi yang draft pick bukan cuma.
Also, you know, Smash on Cassiopeia is still somewhat of an unknown right now. How well he's going to do in the lane. He should be able to win lane
Draft
into the
DK ini
Ziggs,
mah
but
gokil ya.
I mean, if it's anything
Udah
like
kebaca ya sama
Smash's
T1.
Victor, I
T1
think
tadi
that,
nyangkanya
D Plus
Cassiopeia
fans are
mid
in
sih
good
itu.
hands, right? He has
Makanya dia
actually
main
really
Victor.
taken to the mage play on the bottom side of the map
Dikiranya
very
bakal
well.
Zaya
This
Rakan,
is not
terakhirnya
the
ternyata kagak
norm,
jadi
right?
Zaya Rakan.
But,
Gak wajib
it is
juga sih.
certainly a whole lot of fun. I believe it was Viper that played the Cassio in the bottom lane first. But here we
Cuma
are, ladies and
Nafirinya ini
gentlemen,
loh.
onto the rift for game number 1.
Untungnya si Faker gak main Talia ya. Oh, mau di engage?
Alright, here we are.
Nggak, tapi nggak jadi ada
Ready
vision.
for game number 3 of this series between T1 and D Plus here at the T1 home ground. The KSPO arena dome is extraordinarily full.
there's an arena inside the dome. It's fine.
All right, yeah, I guess you can call it arena. Maybe it's just like, you know, it's a simple.
The dome is the shell for the arena. You know,
Yeah.
You think of it that way.
Just like a UI is just a dome, and even if it's different, it's still the same.
Doran demen banget pakai skin Jace yang ini.
This is a fun
hitam.
matchup. I actually quite like this one. I know that Cassante used to be one of those grown type champions, but I feel like you do have a lot of play potential as Smash. So try and get some more of these noxious blasts down.
The one thing about this matchup that I really like for Cassiopeia versus the Ziggs is we don't really like the Akali at level 1, and most matchups, enjoying that a little bit less, is that the Cassiopeia actually has consistent damage output, whereas the Ziggs does not. And especially once Smash gets level 2, it's going to be really annoying for Pays because he's got his Q and that's all he's got. So he'll have to be really careful in this lane matchup, otherwise you could just get hard pushed in. And it can be very annoying to play if you are Pays. Knows Smash did not go teleport, because he knows he's actually the one who has the pressure in this lane. He went for the more combat-oriented Ghost in this. Oh,
Buset. That's an incredible satchel there from Pays. Just threw them all over the place.
Duar.
Not actually going to necessarily do
Duar
too much as
meledak.
far as winning the trade, but looked really cool.
I mean, it did get him a lot of damage on the Smash, and it's really hard to actually win trades, but double taunt into double satchel is a combo I hadn't really considered all too much, but it is going to work out in this case.
And the thing that I do want to talk about is the mid-jungle here, because I feel like Faker and Ona definitely have a lot more synergy, right? With the gravity field and the pillar.
Yes.
Like, just sort of working so well together to try and guarantee these stuns from the Victor. And
Lucid
on the
and
other side,
Showmaker
Lucid,
have a lot
they
of
have
damage.
Yeah, it's just damage.
Usually CC is the more interesting part. Sometimes you have one champion in the mid lane that does a lot of damage, and then the jungler does a lot of CC, and that works out well. But double CC can also work well because people just can't play the game then when you do that to them. But double damage often does not work out because the CC kind of comes
Victor
into play.
Jace, iya, suami istri.
But it's not a free setup with
Seskap
pillar
sama
and
Pak
gravity field or
Pres.
anything like that. It's very strong, but
Seska Pak Pres satu
not
tim loh ya.
already by, levels of damage and CC layers.
Mukanya Jace mirip cu, mirip
But
sama
Talia would have
Seskap.
definitely been a lot stronger in
Iya
that
sih.
regard, but see how Faker plays this lane. Obviously generating a decent lead, but not enough to get anything
Oh, ada
off
Lucid.
Faker. So Lucid's just going to be annoying down here. Now, they did not opt for a Varus lane or anything like that, so not going to see an early Nefiri dive, but it is stopping backs right now, which is a pretty successful play. Pays will finish his block back and TP back in.
Yeah, going to be able to grab some items here as well. Double Amp Tome, just to make sure that he's got as much damage for the wave as he possibly
Tuan for
can have.
DK, setuju,
And
setuju.
Smash will be able to push this wave in. But you can see, like, Pays is doing really, really well in this lane right now. as
Honor, slow,
making his way down.
nyari
We're not
seseorang,
going to get interrupted or
gak
anything
jadi,
with the pillar.
pulang.
And Carrier is a little bit low, but they are looking to just get the shove with this Trundle being in the area.
Now, if Pays
Itu ngebug
loses
itu.
out again,
Paling nanti menit
We'll
ke
have that
10
team
normal
background
lagi
actions
nih.
was so weird. Actually, caught Pays
overlaynya.
in his satchel. Does have to flash to get out of the play, and he just teleported back.
Yeah, exactly. Now he doesn't have it, and I was setting up for that because Career with a flash available is threatening that, right? He's constantly thinking, if I can set this up, Smash is going to do so much damage, even without his Ghost available on the chase. Smash knows that all Career needs to do is to hit one knockup, and Pays is going to be out of the lane. Pays thought he could outplay it with the satchel there. Now finds himself down flash and down TP. We'll be able to hold this wave here. Carrier is going to be the one who backs first, but a very, very scary moment there. If he had lost that wave, that would have created such a ripple effect. His owner would have had to stay down there, would have affected his clear, and as a result, it is still a big win, but luckily for Pays, he gets out and gets... We normally see the sad triple longsword or someone has triple dagger in the bottom lane. Triple amp tome is a new one.
Jamaica is
Keria coba untuk ketahuan, gak kena siapa-siapa. Ada Kari di sini, knockup kena, Shuriken masuk, tapi Keria terlalu dalam.
In League of Legends, at least, they are a lone warrior. I wonder if that passive is actually back in LoL Classic.
Lone warrior?
No, like the fact that like ninjas can only be like one per team, otherwise you lose 1 HP.
BTW,
Oh, I have no idea.
Akali sama Shen tuh satu region kan guys?
She was
Lore-nya.
also playing the Aftershock version of the Cassante into a Trundle. That is
Shen sama Akali
crazy.
satu region
about that.
perasaan
I
lore-nya,
would
iya
have
gak sih?
just preferred to see another grasp here.
Well, Ona will have the ability to be basically immortal if he ever presses that button onto this Cassante. But that is, you know, a story for another time.
UI-nya beda, ngebug.
So he is
Nanti menit 10 biasanya
armor
normal lagi.
first here into this chase, which he has to.
Guru
But
sama
after this first item
murid.
completes, he will start building MR because he's playing against a Victor and a Ziggs. And then he's going to be, if the ultimate is not there from Owner, nobody's going to be killing him or hurting him ever. So it's a good thing that they have that button.
Jir, Lucid datang-datang nyampah minion, kocak.
Lucid going to move down towards his bottom side. Ona clearing out a control ward
Gue
on his
banget
blue
tuh.
buff, but Lucid does have access to this area right now. Level advantage as well on the Neferi as Korea going to rotate up. Carrier going to be following.
All right.
Lucid masih ada Owner mencoba buat untuk mengambil kodok aja, soalnya disabotase itu bab birunya. Ada karir yang jagain.
The power of the level 6 from this Neferi. So
Kalah sih ya ke Amana Piri trial.
The gold lead that they did have had got up to about 400, 500, something like that, but is now shrinking once more. But I just don't I'm not sure whether I trust D Plus's composition as we
Minimal
get
suara
further into
in-game
this
gedein,
game.
sir.
They need
Nggak
to
mau.
show that they can force fights anytime they want.
Kodok
Because
sampai
otherwise, I
dikeroyok
think
3
T1
orang.
just wins. Exactly.
Jagain owner,
It's
kasihan.
very scary when this
Susah
victory
lawan
becomes
Napiri.
online.
Citrano.
And if you can't crack, it also depends on what dragons we end up getting and stuff like that, but if you can't burst Faker, he actually is that consistent damage output, even into a Cassante building MR later on in this game. So I think the scaling, in a weird way, favors T1 probably. We'll have to see how the game
Enak kalau pro player ya kagak maksa Dragon gitu. Free banget ini Dragonnya. Soalnya udah pasti early-nya kuat gitu si Napiri. Kasih aja. Kalau di kita mah di ping gua suruh naga.
Might even be able to get another backstop here.
Oh, Pay's gonna get interrupted once
Terbangnya
again.
tinggi banget tuh sama bomnya Pace juga. Pace hampir mati.
Pay's going to survive here, but still a lot of damage to come out from this snake.
I mean, I think Lucid just kills.
Oh, Lucid.
He's-
EQ.
He doesn't have
Oh,
any
wait.
buttons, he doesn't have flash.
EQ, Lucid.
Yeah,
Go.
Satchel, when is it going to be back up and
Kok
available?
dipakai
There it
E-nya?
is. As Korea does get this wave knocked up, they
Oh,
are going to try and shove this as fast as
dog
they
is
can.
waiting.
Grubs are being taken. They've lost their blue buff. This is a big
Ada
investment.
TP
as it
dari
teleport
Faker gak
comes out from
jadi.
Faker.
Dapat TP Faker
And
tapi
he's
worth
just
it
gonna
sih, worth it
turtle
sih.
his way down here
Worth it.
and
Dapat
sacrifice
TP-nya
his
Faker.
lane just a little.
Yeah, we
Dapat
always
TP-nya Faker,
wondered what
Showmaker
D
OTW
is
ke
good
Owner.
for in D+, but it's
Owner cuma dapat
back to
1.
that discipline from game number 2. It's not going to
Dapat
force the
2.
play, get the TP out of Faker. And Lucius just goes right back to his jungle. Some of his camps, I think just the blue buff actually, was taken away by Owner while they were doing that dragon. That's the cross map that he did get, but I thought for sure that they were going to go for that dive a little bit faster, and then, you know, the TP from Faker might have tried to salvage it, but ultimately that didn't end up happening. It looks like this Recon tech, by the way, from Career, it's like he's been practicing his matchup. He actually understands how to interrupt Satchel, and we've never seen someone try to punish the Ziggs this way here in the LCK just yet. So he came prepared. We weren't 100% on board with the Recon.
Ini Showmaker bisa galakin nih. Fakernya kagak ada TP.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's certainly working. And it pairs with the Miasma quite nicely there as well. You can sort of guarantee it if Smash is ever able to get that in line. But Flash now down for the Casio is going to make this somewhat dangerous, and they haven't been able to get too many plates from this turret yet. That's why T1 still has that 400 gold lead we were talking about before.
Ada Keria,
Maker
Rico.
also not really being able to put a dent into mid lane just yet, although now that he has hit level 8, is feeling a lot more comfortable.
Keria gak jadi. Wah, Keria aja jadi Rico. Faker pakai ultimate. Arcane Storm. Dipakai. Showmaker masih selamat.
Oh, that's not great.
The lane here in the bottom side is pretty abysmal for pace, right? We don't have the gold up right now because the UI is kind of bugged at the moment, but you can tell he's down a wave. He's lost a lot of plates. Like, Cassiopeia is very online, and it's going to have Rod started here pretty soon. And so I'm wondering what this mid game is going to look like here for T1, because they have a really strong set of bursty opposition in this game when we come into these next few fights, like this next Dragon, for example, Herald, Grubs, which are up right now.
Sakit itu ya. Dah, ultinya.
Thought he was going to keep walking.
Yeah.
Really good heads up play there from Pace to make sure that he does not face check a scary snake. This walking into bushes when there could be snakes is something that Australians often learn, but I didn't expect, you know, Koreans to learn it as much. There are some snakes here, but they're not quite the same.
This is a very difficult fight for T1 to take without the subjugate value here from Owner. So the timing of when he uses it and when T1 fight with it is going to be of paramount importance here. They're going to clear all this vision. D+ have just been avoiding so many fights this series, and it looks like this might be another one of those. They weren't set up for it. They sent Lucid home, and he's actually going to the bottom side of the map. Maybe their angle here is going to be to try to dive Paze, but Paze has back up. So,
gak sabar gue di nerf ini apa support mondar-mandir nih. Nanti mas Shen bot lane, Camille bot lane di nerf guys.
Across the board, a lot of that is in these solo lanes, right, where you see the advantage for the Jace. You know, he has a similar advantage to the Cassiopeia.
Kena tuh.
He just doesn't miss these.
Yeah, he's just
karir.
Showmaker didn't really need him to. He was just
coba kalau Yasuo ulti itu gue.
Now Shiu looking for an angle towards Doran. Uses that window with the aftershock there, but Doran is able to dive in on top and win out on the trade.
Now he doesn't have his ult, and Keria is kind of interested. As they even committed the Ziggs up here. This is going to commit for the Satchel turret destruction here as Paze will just wipe this out.
Mainnya slow banget, Tiwan. Sabar.
Two Grubs they picked up earlier on.
And this is going to be about 1,000 gold in the lead as well, maybe even more. Probably a 1.5k advantage for T1.
Udah menit 11 masih belum balik tuh overlay gue lihat-lihat. Bang Admin.
The problem is that D+
udah 12 menit Bang Admin gue lihat-lihat belum balik overlay.
But you can't play this comp like that. You know, it's not like the game 2 composition where you have Aatrox that can just walk on top of the enemy AD carry. They're going to keep you at arm's length. They have so much range. And they have zoning now with this Victor in the draft, as well as the Trundle you mentioned earlier on. So if you just say, well, I don't like that a few more times, then the Akali is just going to be irrelevant in this game, and you're going to be building MR to try to survive and elongate a game that isn't favoring you the longer it goes. So you're going to need to find something somewhere.
Well, Doran is also not going to get yelled
lagi
at.
tuh gue lihat-lihat kagak kena.
Not really too much more.
2 kali tuh gue tinggun Bang Pace, Bang Smash.
On Smash's petrifying gazes.
Unfortunate for him, 2 attempts, 2 fails. And
Drake
T1,
up and available.
I mean, they're starting to really run away with this game. The D+, they are at their strongest in the mid game, but the Akali hasn't been accelerated. It's a late first blood.
Kejebak di sini sama owner, mati sih kalau dia kagak kabur. Sementara itu Lucy dapat naga lagi. Cassante tiba-tiba mukul buff. Oh, what the plan here? Mancing owner? Rebutan buff biru bro, let's go! Why not?
I feel like this is just, it's a win for T1 either way. You know, they become tankier and more difficult to kill if they get the soul and they stack it up. And for D+, it's not even a big benefit is Doran.
Okay, Lucid.
Looking to chase after him. There is the quickness. The knockup is there as well, but Carrier makes his way in with the Stand United.
Tadi dia way dulu buat nambah damage ulti, tapi masih belum cukup.
And Shiu is just getting collapsed on here. We're going to see that subjugate now.
Yeah, he does just Pathmaker and Flash to get himself out of the way. And there's that subjugate that you were talking about.
Apa dah free dragon mulu, blue buff malah kontes. Fokus itulah, fokus farming lah, Trundle scaling kali. Makin biar makin garang kok.
Even the stun going to go over there from Faker. So T1 win on both sides of the map. They're able to escape with Doran there and get Carrier there for the defense and deny that turret while
tapi kalah sih SC anjir sama si
Lucid. And more and more plate gold is going over to Faker. And this gold lead here for T1.
Ada tadi farming mulu dia.
1500 or so. This game hasn't changed that much, but that's right where they want to be. You know,
tapi memang Nafiri clearnya memang tai sih, cepet sih clearnya Nafiri.
Like D+ are playing as if they're very happy to
salah satu jungle yang clearnya paling cepet.
T1 with this composition. I think it could work
if the Akali is relevant.
Cepet banget clearnya tuh.
It could work.
Anjir lah.
Could be a very strong situation.
Bang ketinggalan satu, Bang.
You know,
ya.
it's an even game state and we're 6
ya,
and 6 kills right now.
Tinggalan satu.
Onto this Akali.
Aduh OCD gua.
He didn't get a big lead, but he's Cassiopeia.
Tinggalan
He's have
satu.
more damage throughput than a lot of these other champions on the side of T1. But I think when the Victor is building the way that Faker is, right? He's got Rod of Ages here, which is rare. We don't always see this actually on Victor in this meta. It's exactly the right choice, because T1 know eventually Showmaker's not going to be able to kill a whole lot of anybody in this game.
Well, looks like T1 are looking to kill a whole lot of Shiu in this bottom lane. See whether Carrier can show up in time. This turret is not going to die before they
harusnya aman sih Cassante sih. Aman Cassante mah. Buset, dibawa ke dalam tuh.
He brings him back under the turret.
Ulti
and a potential angle here as Showmaker has found Paze. Satchel looking to get himself out.
Oke, akhirnya grounded. Oke, apakah Paze tidak selamat? Sementara itu Owner dan yang terjebak. Lucid masuk menggunakan ultimate. Doran mencoba untuk kabur. Ultimate dipakai sama Paze. Kena 2 orang dan reset didapatkan sama Lucid, tapi damage-nya masih belum cukup. Masuk aja karir. Triple kill untuk Showmaker. Apakah T1 akan kalah di outgroundnya sendiri, chat? Oh my god, 5-0. Quadra kill untuk Showmaker.
This is the exact nightmare scenario T1.
Wah, udah snowball Akalinya. Akali is snowball. 9 stack on Darksail.
And Shiu turns it around on them. They give up so much map control to try to kill a Cassante. And you knew, we all knew, Paze knew he was there trying to intercept.
Kill, DK.
That D+ was going to be collapsing on the plate because they've been fishing for a fight this entire game, but they've never been able to find one that they liked. But when T1 were the ones to make the first move, D+ were all over that. So Paze here trying to collapse in and add some extra damage. Smash and Showmaker were here to intercept. They kill him. as that play is happening bottom side, where it's turned around by Shiu, and now all 5 members.
Tapi Karir jago banget terakannya, guys. Gua like selama ini kenapa kagak dipakai tuh Rakan? Jago bener gue lihat Rakannya, wo. Anjir lah. Kemana aja Rakannya, Bang? Kenapa baru dipakai sekarang? Cuma Happy sama Pumandu. Pumandu dan cuma Happy, cuy.
Not celebrating too hard, but is incredibly happy about that particular moment. I could still see the stress in his eyes, though. It is not over yet. 50 seconds on the clock until Soul Point.
Cuma tuh jago
that could be a huge deal. But man, I mean, it went from 0 first blood to ace.
Yeah, a full ace.
Yeah, that is just, that's not what I was expecting. My bingo card didn't have that option.
A clean ace at like 15 and a half minutes into the game. Maybe even just around 16. Either way.
It was 15 and 37 seconds, Wolf.
Okay.
I was looking at the clock at the moment.
Well,
I've got the stat for the stats team.
There you go. I think this next fight over Dragon.
Tapi kenapa main Trundle ya? Kalau dipikir-pikir.
Moments before, we're like, oh, I just don't think we're ahead enough to take it, and now they are.
Trundle bagus lawan Kasante, tapi itu doang anjing.
You know, wait for this Soul Point fight.
Itu doang, cok.
Career has his ultimate available. Does not have flash. But it's
Why Trundle
if he
though?
can actually get a flash ult here, the fight becomes so much simpler. Shiu is in the side lane right now with TP. Doran doesn't have a TP. So they're even winning elsewhere on the map while they're setting up for this fight as Doran is catching waves. And it just doesn't look like T1 are going to be able to find their way into this one. The Victor is just not scaled up just yet. And it's trying to force their way in.
And it's so difficult as well because T1 really want to
Tapi late game ngeri sih, Tar.
and get that poke down first.
Kalau udah mulai dapat shutdown,
they still need to be able to turn on a dime. They
nanti
need to start these fights
Kasantenya bakal tidak berfungsi gara-gara Trundle.
Yeah, he's just gonna. He's like, we don't even need this dragon. Well, we have so much
late
control, we
game-nya
can do this.
Bisa sih gitu, cuma sampir di solo kill tuh gua lihat Faker sama Kasante, wo. Kalau gak ditolongin Shen, hampir di solo kill tuh. Kalau gak ada Shen-nya. Aduh, apa ini Mountain Drake untuk Kasante sih, kacau ya. Kayak kagak ngaruh deh Trundle deh kalau dapat Mountain Soul.
Kasante was great because it's like, okay, well, I'm going to get this whole turret and we're going to get the dragon. T1 don't really have any agency here. Faker rotates up, and I think he just really underestimated the damage. He doesn't really have any MR yet.
I still think it's probably fine for D+, though. I think Soul Point is so strong for this composition.
I agree, but I also think that they could have just
he could have just not died.
Not all outed Faker, and he could have just been like, well, my objective was get the turret, but I don't have to, as Doran is now going to be TP'd on by a Fed.
Oh, Showmaker TP. Ini seru nih, TP kagak seru banget, bangke lah. Gue pengen lihat juga Jess Akali.
He also just got his TP back, and now doesn't have it anymore.
That's going to be a dead turret. Yeah, that is a full turret to go down. Smash getting a little bit of money back here. So we can see there are bounties across the board.
So Shiu, we look at the control of the Dragon Pit they still have. He doesn't actually have to all-in Faker here. He can just let the minions do the work, and maybe, you know, I guess the idea is if he pulls Keria, then they like 100% get the Dragon without Keria being there, but I just don't think this was necessary. He also flashed the ult, so then still die. This was a nice kill from Smash, or sorry, from Pays, I suppose.
Yeah, gets out of the Mega Inferno Bomb and keeps Pays on 0-1-0. I guess there is a positive to be made from that one. Also, I think made sure that the minions took an extra bit of damage out of that outer turret by wasting some time. I don't know whether the flash was all that necessary, but he's a Kasante. Maybe he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he cares that much, but we'll see if it ends up being a defining point in this game.
Dash
I'm being a little bit picky about the whole situation about, you know, he didn't have to do that, but it means that T1 gets something back, right? The gold lead is tiny. It's 900 here. Obviously, a lot of the money on the Akali, which is exactly where you want it to be because the Cassiopeia is scaling. This is where I was talking earlier about the question you asked, was like, do D+ kind of scale? Are they comfortable with this? Well, With a Fed Akali, I think the answer is yes, but they still want to keep putting that pressure on over and over and over again. This next Dragon is where they want to basically end this game.
They're bullying.
Oke, slow. Shiwu ada di sini, ultimate dimakan oleh Faker. Arcane Storm berusaha untuk tapi show. Shiwu menculik Faker keluar, tapi armornya digigit sama Trundle. Jadi tipis, coy.
When an owner can take away all of your stuff, like your stats just disappear.
Yeah, and even though he is building some of that MR now to get his Jack shows, it just doesn't show up when he presses R on you. This is a situation where if he had flash,
ini loh yang nanti skenario-nya kayak gitu terus ini. Kesantainya kagak berfungsi, Cok. Late game-nya.
And this was with like a 15-minute ace. That's the crazy part.
Semoga Doran bisa finishing nanti sama kesantainya diginiin. Itu skenario gini terlate game tuh literally kagak dibikin main ini pasti kesantai.
This does mean that they can get the top turret.
Gokil.
Look at where Doran is on the minimap right now. He's like, yep, I'm not going to let them cross-map this. They're not going to cross-map me. They will cross-map the turret. They're still looking for it, by the way.
Apa? Copy pasta kesante tidak berlaku di depan Trundle Walk.
Because they know that, they need to keep, they have the tempo and they're exactly where they want to be, but where they want to be is killing the champions over and over and over again. So they got to find those, they got to kill those. And maybe getting him for a Baron?
Getting a Mountain Soul will also be...
DK harus makin galak sih mainnya sih. Late game kesantai ini gak guna, Cok.
Not the same as an Ocean Soul, but still does do a similar job.
Yeah, those that pays...
DK harus lebih agresif lagi mainnya sih.
D+ were in fact on that Baron. He used his ult to check.
Late game sumpah, late game kasihan kesantainya tar.
It's actually really smart. It's Cassio. She does a lot of damage.
They were on the same page as me. They're like, they're trying to kill us, but they might also be killing the Baron. We don't have enough vision to know. So it was a nice check there. D+ were not taking that risk because they're kind of risk averse this series, which I think is a good idea. But this comp does again need to, you got to have your foot on the gas.
Well, Carrier going to take a lot of damage there as the daggers do fly forward. And we have a minute on this Dragon. And fighting for Dragon Vision is where D+ are. They need a lot of that if they want to make sure that they can get out of the way.
Ini kapan jadi Sojin, Bang Lucid? Buat lawan Trundle, Bang Lucid. Dia bikin Sojin gak, Cok?
Seconds to go, and they're doing the Shiu strategy again. They're like, maybe Faker will go up and answer him, and then we'll just do the hold on.
Bang Lucid kagak bikin Sojin.
Or maybe Ona will go up there because the subjugate value is so high, and then they won't have a smite in the Dragon Pit. That could be another option.
I mean, he's just working on this, and they also left the Akali to the side lane as well, so Showmaker should be able to get prio.
Oh, this is just another 1-3-1 comp, I guess, Wolf.
Yeah, it's the Cassante 1-3-1.
Aha. Look, another thing, like, my bingo card's useless, man. Like, what does it even have on it? Oh, man. All right, well, D+ going to look to try and defend as T1 have a lot of people in mid.
Nah, gitu loh, Siwu loh. Push, Siwu.
Like, you guys are too early for the Dragon.
Come on. Tempo. Siwu ada TP. Siwu TP.
Well, he is going to move on down now.
Siwu udah TP, Siwu datang.
Push Carrier out of here.
Ini Soul Mountain ya buat DK ya.
That big old shield that he's got.
Aduh, smite, Cok.
His quest completion.
Kayaknya sih Siwu masuk duluan gak sih? Siwu masuk duluan. Terus kita we give up the Dragon.
From this river.
Carrier's on a flank. He's actually just going to back and ult in. They have to force something.
Yeah, gets on top of Pace. Korea not going to be able to go for an engage though as Smash gets put in the kennel. Shiu is taking a lot of damage here, and this is the poke that we were talking about. Miasma comes in. Doran taking a lot of damage off the
Siwu udah. Wow! Ultimate yang sangat bagus dari Carrier, kena semua orang. Carrier is the best Rakan in the world.
Pushed away in D+.
Carrier is the best Rakan in the world. I'm not even joking.
They're just dead.
Haru says, I don't need a health bar to make this happen. What a play from the Rakan.
Okay. Well,
Carrier is the best Rakan in the world.
Homeground's giving Carrier POMs. It's just support POM.
I guess so.
Cucu, dari kok gak sering pakai Rakan sih, dia jago gini anjir. Kemana aja Rakannya?
What a play after so
lihat Bang, jago gini wo Rakannya wo. Kenapa gak dari kemarin make?
He says, I'm still going in. Speaking of still going in, Showmaker was trying to continue to go in, but he does decide to stop that now.
Gokil, gila. Siapa yang bisa nebak itu? Nyawa dia low. Nyawa dia satu hit lagi. Tapi kok kepikiran maju anjir. Dia apa tadi? Dash, flash, E, ulti. I don't know. That was so fast. Q.
And Faker knew he had the gravity field down, but Korea went for the flash play to make sure that he guaranteed it. That was
That was
absolutely insane.
one of the craziest recon plays we've ever seen. At 0 health, he does
Gila, gila.
crazy. And D Plus have pulled the trigger twice this game. And it's 5 kills and 4, the 2 they get from said plays. And that's enough to get Mountain Soul. And yes, you got the Subjugate, but you only get it on 1 target. And now even this Cassiopeia, who's very tanky, is a huge threat that you can't necessarily cut through very quickly. The Ziggs bomb and burst is going to hit shields. So that's a problem.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, that first salvo of poke is going to come in. D Plus are not going to notice. And then they'll just either back away or go for that hard commit like we saw earlier. Korea, man.
Look at these dark
Mountain Soul, karir MVP sih.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Kayaknya POM karir sih, POM. POM karir sih.
They just start to balloon even further into the lead.
Oh, Doran not going to quite find that shock blast. And I still feel like T1's composition has a lot to offer, right? Like, if they are able to stabilize this game at all, I mean, the gold lead is not gigantic, and they have one of these comps where the win conditions are so different to that of DK, and if they are able to play out these fights the way they want to, it will look very different. The problem is, DK have been able to play the way they want.
Oke, ulti dipakai sama Lucid, mencoba untuk mendapatkan honor, padahal damage-nya masih belum cukup. Kenapa kagak bikin Sojin, Wak?
If they kill Owner there, they get the Baron and they open up the base.
Pakai Sojin mati itu.
I mean, they're still going to send him back. Like, maybe they still get this anyway.
Yeah, maybe you're right. As Doran, he does have TP, he's going to have to join. Showmaker looks for the all-in.
Faker mati nih, Macho. Perfect execution. Ya, dipakai buat kabur. Tapi kita ada Doran masuk. Ultimate dipakai sama Career. Lucid kagak jadi Baron. Pakai W buat mengurangi damage. Di situ ada Siwu. Mati dong Bang Siwu. Tapi knockback-nya mengusir Keria keluar. Dan Keria seperti akan disokin sama Kesante. Tapi masih ada Taunt. Faker kejebak di situ. Kok ada di situ Demon King-nya? Wow, Lucid masih ada ulti gak sih? Lucid bentar lagi punya ulti. Tapi gak usah ulti. Di Q doang kayak Keria mati. Atau dia bakal ulti. Lucid ulti. Masuk. Keria mati.
D+, man, they are thriving once again when the crowd is against them.
It's been over 2 years since T1 have lost a
Pulang,
home ground.
kalah di home ground,
Telecom war, his career will lose his life.
Yeah, it's going to be taken down.
Oke, Bang Karir, chill the fuck out. Tapi gak apa-apa, jadi si Pace gak bisa pulang. Gangguin pulang. Wow, Showmaker, solo kill.
Does not care about the minefield. He'll take
Gila, kalah T1 coy di home groundnya sendiri. Kandangnya kalah di kandang. What the fuck? Kalah di kandang. Yes. MVP siapa ketik guys? Kata gua antara Karir atau Lucid sih. Lucid Karir sih. MVP-nya antara jungle atau support. Menurut kalian gimana guys? MVP siapa guys? Lucid antara Lucid Karir kata gua. Si Owner jelek banget mainnya Owner. Busuk.
Off the back of patient play, and only you knew.
Yang voting DK cuma satu orang.
I knew. I think I woke up from a fever dream and did my predictions because I could have sworn I typed in T1, but I actually saw there was a screenshot of what I put in the chat, and it was definitely a D+ there. And this. After game 1, I was like, well, yeah, no, this is how this makes sense, you know, and all of our T1 predictions were true, and let's move on with our
ketik
lives.
MVP siapa? Ketik.
Like the tenacity that this team has
ketik dari siapa?
managed to find is so huge because they used to just collapse like a house of cards when things got too hard, and now it's the opposite.
Yeah, and for T1 in both losses, D+ were just so oppressive. They were just setting up such a tension. It's like a rubber band snapping, right? You know, with the Faker Rise play there, the rest of the team wasn't ready to follow, and they end up collapsing and dying under all the weight of everything D+ had set up. And then in this game, it's a similar story where they're like, okay, I want to try to get something done on the map. I want to try to get that from Asante, and it's a faster rotation over from the Akali. Showmaker picks up a Quadra, they get aced, and the game just ends in that moment. And it's just picking the right battles that was what D Plus wasn't doing in game 1 and what they weren't doing last week.
Dari
when they
MSI
last
si Tom
faced
ini
off,
bodoh
they
banget,
picked every
pick-pickannya
battle, and it
si
did not
Gun
work,
fungsinya
but
juga
today
menangin
they picked
tiket
the right
MSI
ones
doang.
outside that fight in game 1.
Yeah.
And we're able to come back, but it's this year where FaZe is trying to come over and
Kayaknya
help
ganti
the
coach sih.
dive and
Kayaknya
salvage
koma
it.
deh.
They're
Kita
like
butuh
way too
koma
fast to
kayaknya.
play. They kill him.
Where the fuck is
and then
Koma?
Career's getting these knockups down here.
The snap engages from D Plus though, like their composition has to be played only like this.
Maybe
you cannot
Koma
give
is the
T1
answer.
any time to soften you up, because as soon as you miss one piece of this, it just falls apart.
I was worried that we had already gotten to the point in the game where it just wasn't going to work, and they got one opportunity.
Ini sih gila sih. Itu
This was
reactionnya 0.50% anjir.
It's for this moment
0.5% itu.
I actually think that's okay.
Reactionnya setengah detik anjir.
I think you absolutely
Gua aja
could.
kaget. What the
Maybe
the
should.
flash kan meluncur
I mean,
anjir.
Lucid also had an unbelievable game too.
Edan si Karir
and here
Edan.
on the Neferi as well. I mean, if he wins it, I'm not going to be too upset.
I'll say I went for Showmaker because his Twisted Fate defined the draft in game 2, and then in game 3 here, even though it wasn't necessarily his setup, he played so
Si
well.
Lucid juga mainnya sabar ini, dia main Dead Dance ya.
And the old man
Nggak
still
full
has
damage.
it.
In the very final moment, he shows that he does.
Gokil, solo kill.
Look at the career, man.
Karir sampai berdoa. Career is literally praying and cry. Career is crying.
I like that we were like celebrating D Plus's ability to play clean,
Sampai nyebut
League of
karirnya.
Legends.
Wow,
But it's
MVP show, iya sih, tapi emang jago sih Showmaker sih. Okay, alright, fair enough. Yo, but Lucid is getting robbed though. Harusnya Lucid gak sih?
700 right now, and that one is certainly
Lucid got
achievable.
robbed.
I mean, I think this
This is like
This
the
might-
Showmaker greatest hits, by the way,
Yeah.
as far as these picks as well.
I wonder
Apart
if
from the LeBlanc. LeBlanc should have been the Oriana, I think.
I wonder if that
Lucid
career
got
play goes
robbed.
down as like play of the year though. Like that one is going to show up at
That was
OCK Awards. You know what I
so
mean? That's
sick, man, yeah.
that was crazy.
You best believe Orcs voted for Korea.
Oh,
What is Tayun doing here?
Oh, I think he will not be alone. I
Tayun
really
ngapain di
considered
situ?
it. I
Yeah.
really did.
And I want to see,
Ooh,
like,
what is
I'm
Tayun
sure
doing
the
here?
space has something planned, but I hope that it's just that moment in ultra slow-mo, because that was just so beautifully done by Korea to make sure that they could get these snap engages. So much of that game was resting on him, right? He is the engage. He has to engage with his body. When he got poked out, that was like T1 had done their job, right? They got rid of the engage tool, and then everything was fine. As Faker does a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter, right? It's about what happens in those 4 seconds of team fight.
2 team fights. That's all D Plus needed. Sure, they killed people
Ini
at the
T1
end,
lagi lose
but
streak ini.
those 2 fights were the most decisive moments of the game, and they picked their battles well.
They certainly did. What an absolute crazy series. And the ridiculous part is we're only halfway through the day, ladies and gentlemen.
That was just the
Jelek
appetizer.
apa itu ya?
Exactly.
Ocean, bro.
We've got the rise
Tapi bentar lagi katanya ADC mau di-buff sih. Berserker mau di-buff. Kayak paling meta lagi ADC.
We will have an interview with Showmaker, I'm pretty sure, coming up, which is going to be some phenomenal insight into how they managed to
sorry.
prepare. So
Nanti
that they
ADC
could
mau
come
di-buff
back
lagi,
against the team that just obliterated them. So let's hear from that now.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear, the POM interview translation, joined
Oke,
by
yang mau nonton interview silakan cek streamnya. Gua mau udahan dulu streamnya, tapi ntar gue nonton si Nongshim Bro ya. Besok ada match penting kah? Kalau gak ada match penting main LoL PC kita. Besok KT Hanwha live, WEBLG, Ground Zero di FM. Ya, besok main LoL PC yuk. Besok jam 12:30 main LoL PC ya. Terima kasih yang sudah menonton. Jangan lupa like dan subscribe. Jangan lupa juga follow Twitter gua. Links in the description. Thank you chat. Bye bye.